What's up, everybody? We're live. How's everybody doing? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, it's time for the best comics of the month, monthly comic book review live panel. Got some fantastic people tonight to talk about what we feel are the best comics or the comics most worthy of talking about. Because there's
what are we talking about?
What? We're talking about the best comics of April 2022.
April.
That's what we're going to do. I'll be honest. Every week this month, very weak. And then last week, like best new comic book day of the year so far. Yeah. Like,
well, first of all, I missed out on Last Ronin. I had to read it like the next day. Yeah, that last week was fire. With that book in there, especially combined with everything else.
Exactly. And it was perfectly timed for that to come out for me, having just met Kevin Eastman, done the panel with him. So I was like so fucking primed for that book. I was like, yes, let's read this. So of course we got Nick from Comic Culture. What's up, Nick?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me back. And you're right, man, that last week was a killer week. I'm glad I got through everything, but yeah, there was a lot to read last week and a lot of good books too. So I'm sure we'll touch on a bunch of them this during this call here.
We will. It all depends on you. And of course we got Joe Corallo in the house. What's up, Joe?
Of course. All right. How are you?
I'm good, man. I like the mood lighting back there.
Yeah, no, these all extra lights, you know, I've got all sorts of tricks.
And we got Jim Mint from Jim Mint Collectibles, GMC. How you doing, buddy?
I do good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm up to date. I read a lot of shit, not as much as you, but a lot of great titles to talk about for sure. Absolutely. And this is spoiler, this whole show, right?
Yes, this is a spoiler-filled show, so we will be spoiling these books.
I'm ready to chat. I'm ready to learn. I love to pick Robbie's brain. Like, did I understand this the right way? And every time that I do, I'm like, I feel like 10 times smarter. So let's do it.
Yep.
Shucks, whatever. After I get done talking to you, I feel 10 times more swole, and I buy two more. I buy two more omnibuses. So,
there you go.
All right, we're going to be talking about our favorite comic books of April 2022. It is May 1st, so happy May Day, I guess. Whatever. We are on the verge of Robbie Week, which starts Wednesday into next Tuesday, which is Robbie Day. So happy Robbie Week coming up, everybody.
Excellent.
So this is what we're doing, and we do it often. So every month, actually.
You're jingling, baby.
Yeah, man. So let's do it. Let's kick it off. Nick, before you go, I'm going to ask you to kick it off. So start thinking about what your pick of the month is. And I just want to say my pick of the month real quick was Jim Mint Collectibles 420 comic book review, in which he's just smoking a spliff the entire time, forgetting shit. He's like, "Oh, this book's about weed. I bet Rockin Robbie liked it."
Now listen,
I loved it, man. I loved it.
Yo, do you understand that I have to try to not shout you out in like every video I do because I don't want to seem like I'm just on your ass. But you know the thing about what was it? Oh yeah, no. What was funny about that video is that I forget shit all the time, and I usually just edit that out. But in this time, I was like, you know what? Let me just leave it in because it'll be funny. So it wasn't necessarily because I was smoking. That's why I forgot.
It was funny.
It did work, yeah. But that issue, what did you think about that 420 issue that Image put out?
It was all right.
That's what really made me feel like what I'm about to do is going to be okay. Because, I mean, look, Image put out the 420 book.
I loved how you were like, I want to shout out Dynamite Comics for sponsoring this video. I hope they're 420 friendly.
I figured I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. You know what I'm saying?
Right? That's the old adage. Yeah. But that's definitely the YouTube performance of the month for me. I thought that shit cracked me up.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I thought you would get a kick out of that.
Yeah, I did. All right, Nick. What's the pick of the month for you, man?
Man, I had about 3 or 4 different books that probably could have got pick of the month. Man, which one am I gonna go with? I'm gonna pick one that I probably read and I just loved every minute of it. It was really enjoyable, and that was Red Room Trigger Warnings issue number 2. So
Thunder, man.
Yeah. So Ed Piskor is on this one. Absolutely great. This is volume 2. This is issue number 2. And I just like the premise of this one. It was just really fun. Of course, it's grotesque. We know what Red Room is all about. And this one, though, kind of follows this couple, and it shows how they evolve from like just this new flaming love. And they're trying to like find money, and they're like pawning shit off. And they find like, what is it? Like her uncle's like videos and things like that. And then shit just escalates. They just start killing people, just like we know they do in Red Room. And they kind of set up this other couple that's been giving them a hard time, and they set them up towards the end. It's a really, really great read. And then I love the very end, because it shows like a flash forward after they made their billions in Bitcoin doing stuff on the internet. And they have like a little kid. He's totally jacked up. He's like smashing pigeons with hammers and stuff. It was totally messed up. Totally messed up. But I had a great time reading it. And I don't know, man. It's kind of like it's just something so different than anything else you're going to read the whole month. It's just so different. It definitely stood out to me. And yeah, I'm loving Red Room, man. Ed Piscor, great read.
Pick of the month.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's up.
I'm not reading it.
It's so
pretty
good. Now it's not going to be for everybody.
No, I get it. I know it's just the whole. I know the whole spiel, but
I had to open mine up to see what it was because they go and they find out that this dude's got an NES cartridge of what is it? Was it Stadium Events?
Oh, and that was the one that was the real valuable one, right?
Yeah. So they realized that they can just like
pawn it,
hawk all this shit away, and like, but his use of color in this one, just sporadic bits of color for the pumpkins masks. Which he intentionally did it so you could just buy a Friday the 13th mask and paint it up.
Just paint it, absolutely.
Yeah, because he wants people to cosplay as these characters. And
sure.
I mean, it's gnarly, it's torture porn, it's grotesque, and it has this whole framing device where you think that they have committed suicide. Yeah. And they have their like suicide letter, which is on an iPhone. So each page has this iPhone text at the very top corner.
That looks like a lot to digest, yo.
Yeah,
it really is though, because you're right, Robbie. I completely forgot about that part. It sets up like an apparent suicide, and it's the cops coming in there. They're reading this note out loud, and they're going through everything, and it's just really cool to see how the story evolves. And there's like this bully that's introduced, and they're trying to make money. They're trying to like sell drugs and stuff like that, and they get wrapped up. The money gets stolen. What are they going to do? It was really a fun read. It was really awesome.
And also because there's all this stuff that gets layered in there because they're like a bootleg Red Room. Like they're not on the actual Red Room service. They are making these videos and selling them on their own without, these people that I guess host this stuff on the dark web getting a cut or whatever. So throughout the whole issue, you're thinking all these different things that could have happened to them, like the danger they could have been in and why they would kill themselves. I think Red Room is a brilliant book. Even, take all the grotesque stuff out. It is masterfully rendered by Ed Piscor. The artwork is amazing. His use of his like faux duo shade and his screen tones and all that kind of stuff that he uses, and he does it digitally, but he does it digitally better than most people can do it. Like, because it gets overused in some books nowadays because it's so easy to just apply the filter or whatever through Photoshop or some shit like that. But like the way he's using it, he's like painting, he's brushing with it, and I think it's fucking fantastic. Yeah, I think this is the best issue of Red Room yet.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. So here's my thing though, because like on Little Monsters, right? With what is it, Jeff Lemire and is it Dustin Nguyen? Is that the team on that?
Yeah.
They're also doing like a black, white, and red kind of thing too. And then when I read that book, it kind of felt like, okay, this feels like what Marvel and everyone's doing, But so then I look at this and I was like, okay, it's the same kind of thing, but I guess it's just accentuating the masks is what we're saying, right?
Well, like with Dustin doing because he's using digitized screen tones as well. I don't think he's using real screen tones in that one. It seems like it's digital, but it's fine. I love the gray value in that provides. But Ed Piscor is giving us this more gnarly underground alternative kind of feel to it, right? Yeah, that I think really helps.
And the paneling too, like it's not straightforward paneling. If you look at this book and flip through, there's probably like 9 different styles of paneling being used.
It almost looks like what really the 80s TMNT was inspired by. What did they used to call those kind of mags, the black and whites? I don't know.
Underground comics, like
the underground comics that they kind of did with the first issue of,
it's got that sketchiness and like that creativity for sure. So it's great. Yeah.
And I love how in each issue he's trying to do something different with the format. Like each issue stands on its own, but there are pieces that you can start putting together. Like that are told kind of out of sequence, but when you read the whole thing, but each issue is its own thing. You can read any issue. Man. It's a little bit like that, but it's definitely more dense, I would say.
Yeah. And it's a little bit more straightforward too. It's not driven on metaphor like Ice Cream Man.
Right. That has a little bit more of like a meaning behind each issue type of thing.
It's up for interpretation. This is very much straightforward, but it is on its own. It has a skeletal structure that's unique. That's the same with every single one, but this one really surprised me. So that's why it was so high up there. Like I said, there's like 3 or 4 contenders for that, but this one really like stood out for sure.
No, but that was a good one because that's not. I'm not even reading that one, so good to highlight everything.
Check it out for sure. Yep.
You've been reading that one, Joe?
I read Red Room. I haven't read. Wait, I read the first issue of Little Monsters. I haven't read the second issue yet. The funny thing about that is, I asked my brother when we were going to the shops if he was going to pick that up, and he was like, "It's a Jeff Lemire book, so it's going to be some guy who's like, I'm lonely and depressed, and then something's going to happen, and he's going to be like, now I don't know where I am. On top of everything else, I'm in a weird place."
And then there's a kid, and now there's animal-morphic people.
Yeah.
Like,
did you read Red Room though?
Yeah, I love Red Room. I have that.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay,
it's
good.
great.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Black and White Explosion. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the big boom that came post Turtles during that era, right? Big
Yeah.
Black Crow, Faust was Faust. Yeah, Faust is part of that.
Faust
Yeah,
is
anyway.
I mean, well, there's tons of stuff. Like Kitchen Sink Press was doing a bunch of stuff. Kings in Disguise is a really good one. If people haven't read that,
Love and Rockets, 8 Ball.
Yeah, Love and Rockets, 8 Ball, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I saw that Nick picked up some 8 Ball at the con. I thought that was so dope, man.
I did. That's
Nice.
I blame Robbie for sure. Whenever I go to the
Will
cons,
do.
I always go to the indie section first because everyone's all over the Marvel DC stuff. I'm like, let me go to the indies first and flip through. And I found that. I'm like, where is this from? And then I saw you had it, and I saw it was from Fantagraphics. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's pick it up. Check it out.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I didn't get a chance to look at mini comics. But speaking of comics, Joe, what's your pick of the month?
This is tough. I have a few, but I'm gonna keep it narrowed down. I'm gonna do a curveball here. Maybe I don't know if this is actually a curveball. I think I'm gonna go with Green Lantern 12. Now here's why. Here's why. It's a big 2 comic that's not an event book where something actually happens.
That is true.
And this is like breaking new ground. Like it never happens. Like they set up like actual crazy stuff happens. You know, they get rid of the universal source, and now it's just like they're wiping the slate clean of like just getting rid of lanterns, making them other kinds of lanterns, giving them different powers. And it's doing so much work to set up a readable, decent Green Lantern core at this point, because it's been such a horrible, impenetrable mess for years. With a few runs, a few things that were good here and there, but like overall, like it's hard to get people into it. Like it hasn't been a book that, outside of a couple of things, where you could just be like, just pick up what's going on now, and you'll get into it.
Yeah,
because there's just too much lore. There's way too many lanterns. Every other lantern's from Earth. It's all like it's just a mess. So I think I got to do it for that reason alone. Although I'll also throw in, since it's not a, floppy or something, but Sakamoto Days, this new manga out from Viz came out this month. This was great. This was a great little romp. It's a story we all kind of know before of like the retired assassin, and it's that old guy there who's like work at this convenience store. But like the first assassin they send after him, he like convinces to like give it up and work at like the shop with him. So it's like those. So it's the new assassin and it's this older assassin who are now like having to fight off like the hordes of assassins they're sending after him to take him out. So
cool.
That's what I'm gonna go with.
See if my shop got that. Thanks.
Yeah, I have to check that out. Thanks for the recommendation there. I'll make sure to stock it at the shop too, because when it comes to new manga, like I don't know much about it, so I'm just now dipping in. I'm like, who's this?
I'd be interested in keeping up with new manga as well. Not for nothing. I enjoy manga, man. I'm about to jump into some Battle Angel Alita,
nice.
And I might reread Akira or at least flip through it because I got the box set again. They re-released it, and
I got to get on that.
I'm reading Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star. They're releasing hardcovers like every couple of months. Like Volume 5's coming out, I think, this month.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I love Jeff Thorne's run on Green Lantern, right? I feel like DC gave up on it a few months into it, and they didn't really, they don't push books beyond the initial launch anyway, but I feel, and there were moments where I was almost like done. And I was like, I don't know, this book's kind of all over the place. It's it's promising, but it's not necessarily delivering yet. And then I remember one time it's probably the lowest point for me where I was just like, I'm just out of it. And Jeff Thorne popped up on the fucking live streams like, trust me, get to issue 12. And I was like, well, if he's cool enough to come and check out Rockin Robbie live, I'll finish his book out. And I'm glad I did. I fucking love it. You're right.
Yeah.
Major ramifications, leveling up characters like John Stewart, understanding there are way too many fucking Earth-based lanterns, trying to figure out how it all works, not being allowed to touch Hal Jordan, which is so obvious when you're reading it. Like Hal just shows up occasionally just to like give some morale boost or something, you know, but he's doing some interesting, the most revolutionary Green Lantern work since Jeff Johns, for sure, I would say.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And it is kind of sad that, you know, we get this big reveal of, and level up for John Stewart weeks from the passing of his co-creator, Neil Adams.
Yeah, that does suck. And it also sucks that he levels up him to this whole Godstorm thing. He shows up in Justice League 75 and gets killed.
Yeah.
Like he's
and you know, and then Diana also gets killed, even though she just got killed at the end of you know, like Death Metal. They do this whole thing where like she's been back in the mortal plane for mere months at this point after her journey through Valhalla and all that stuff.
Right.
Just to get killed like again. It's like I thought she's supposed to be this powerful character.
Hold on, what book did she get killed in? In her own book?
No, Death of Justice League.
In 75.
She died in that book? I don't even remember it. In Justice League 75?
Yeah. The death of the Justice League?
Kind of like they all do the Barry from Crisis thing where it's like,
all faded away. Was
Inception panels.
Okay. Yeah. They pulled in Superman from. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're back from Warworld." Okay, now
he's like flying around Warworld, right? And
he wasn't in his costume in Warworld either. He was in like Warworld garb. You know what I'm saying?
They don't know what the fuck they're doing there. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
That could have been that issue. Could have been anything. Justice League 75 was just like, let's just end the run and make it this prelude Dark Crisis thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like a kind of hearkening back to what is it, the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman, because Superman died issue 75, and they're doing this with Justice League, which is kind of like saying like, you know, like to commemorate the death of you know your grandpa 30 years ago, we murdered your parents today.
Well, that makes sense when you say that. I didn't put that together, and wow, that did not hit anywhere near as hard as the original one.
No,
they forgot to make it good. Yeah,
I feel like so the lead into this new crisis, they tried to keep relegated to just these like couple miniseries by Joshua Williamson, right? The Infinite Frontier, Justice League Incarnate, which I enjoyed.
It's been hard for me to follow that shit, man.
I'm a mark for DC Crisis stuff. Like they can give me the shittiest like I like fucking Convergence just because I like anything. I like Zero Hour. Those books suck. You know what I'm saying? Like but like
I read all the Crisises in 0 Hour as well. I did miss on Convergence, but it's hard for me to like, I don't know, keep it all together, I guess.
Yeah. I just love that shit. So I love the references and it felt a lot newer, or not newer, but more interesting with Infinite Crisis and even Final Crisis, but now they just keep fucking doing it. So I feel like Death of Justice League should have been a 4-issue series, like because it just comes and goes. And like if you've been reading Infinite Frontier and Justice League Incarnate, when you get to Death of Justice League, they show up, they're like, what's going on? Boom, and they're gone. And like there's no like understanding of the threat.
They could have even taken time to pull Superman out the right way to make it a little bit more believable, you know, and not so like convenient, you know.
If only they had an editor-in-chief that could like make all this stuff like work together and like come out on time and not fuck with each other. So
or you know, why not have everyone get killed while Superman's away, and then Superman has to deal with the guilt of not being there. Trying to liberate, you know, these poor people in Warworld, and by doing that, all of my friends were murdered. Like,
and then maybe that's how he comes back eventually, because they're going to bring him back, you know, one day, right? I would assume. So that
did we just storyboard something better than what they put out in 5 minutes?
But that's so easy to do lately. But I mean,
you think?
Yeah, it's a big mess. I don't get why they're even bothering, especially when they spoiled the ending. Like they did it themselves of being like, "Don't worry, everyone comes back. It's fine."
Yeah.
And
it's
then the
like,
whole
you're
Dark
not
Crisis
supposed
thing
to
is
do
like,
that.
so what are we against? Just the blackness? What is this? The Black
Mhm.
Winter? Like, what are we against?
The
Great
Great
Darkness,
Darkness.
It's a great darkness.
Yeah, that
What
goes
is
back
Not
that?
to be used with the
Legion.
Great Darkness saga.
Okay. I thought it was connected to that.
It's kind of connected, but everything's connected to it because it's technically been pulling the strings behind everything.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Okay.
like they do that thing again too, where they're like, every crisis does this, where they recontextualize everything leading
the other
up to it.
crises,
And
yeah.
we're like,
Right,
it's
you got it,
all
yeah.
actually been this fucking entity
Yeah.
or being behind the scene. Like,
So
I
that's
thought
a
they actually
retcon
handled
then?
that really well with Perpetua
With Perpetua.
and
yeah.
dark
Yeah.
or death metal, right? I thought that was cool, and I was like, cool. That really kind of puts it all. And then now they're like, but there's a great darkness. But I do like certain moments where like Darkseid's trying to fucking take care of it, and Darkseid loses and gets got. Now he's like
Right.
a minion of this. But that being said, I'm a sucker for a crisis event. I'm a sucker for an acetate cover. So I paid fucking $7 for this bullshit. Well, I got an employee.
I like the cover with the clear thing and all that, though.
Yeah,
It was a
cool.
good cover.
Yeah, it was a good cover. Yeah.
All right, Jim, pick of the month. What you got?
So, I mean, like, I looked at all my picks of the week for my videos. I skimmed through it. Was there any, like, issues that were really solid that weren't pick of the week for whatever reason? But I had to, at the end of the day, say the Last Ronin 5 hit the hardest out of anything for me. I mean, to me, you know, the conclusion of how many months long was this story already?
Like 14, something like that.
Right? Over
It's
a
got to
year
be
story.
longer than 14.
To
right?
me,
Right?
I think
Yeah.
they stuck
This is
the
a couple of
landing.
years.
I already saw.
Did it start pre-pandemic? It started pre-pandemic.
It may have.
Let's
I
see.
don't know, because that's been like a 2-year thing too. I got it somewhere too. I don't even know where the hell my shit's at. But anyway, I think they stuck the landing because it could have been worse. Like I was watching my boys over at Two Brothers Comics, and something he said made sense. Like he thought they were going to make the daughter of Casey and April the big hero, and she saves the day, right? But they didn't do that. Like this is full spoilers, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
They kill Mikey, and they show you this heaven sequence, and then you're kind of thinking, okay, maybe he's gonna go be reincarnated because they played with that in the beginning of the TMNT volume from IDW, but no, then it comes back to like present time, like no, he's gone. Like to me, that's crazy, and the fact that they hit us with a tube continued, I like that we could play in this world, right? I think this dark Batman, Dark Knight Returns type of vibe, which is kind of to me like, you know, what TMNT issue 1 was inspired by, and then you have this, you know, dark solid story, and they follow through with it. So to me, I really dug it. I like the idea of like, yeah, if you hang around with mutant turtles for like decades, you might soak in some of that TGRI ooze, and your kids might come out a little, you know, changed. So I like that whole thing, man. I thought it was a cool story out of nowhere. Took a long time to finish. I can't wait to read it all back to back now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to reading it all. And I do have a nice bag and board for it because I had the benefit of meeting Kevin Eastman this last weekend. I did the panel with him. And this was one of the questions I asked him is, how the hell are you supposed to store this shit? And he said, get a Golden Age bag, get a magazine board, trim the magazine board to fit the width. And look, it works. It folds over just a little bit.
Yeah,
just
we have
enough.
one of those table chop things too. Matter of fact,
Yeah,
I have one at the store, so that's what I did, man. So I made my custom fucking Last Ronin.
But look, we got this story out of nowhere, man. We didn't even deserve it. Like it's kind of like
well, so when I was on the panel with Eastman, 2 big things that he mentioned. Number one, he said that they're going to do more in this world.
Yeah,
so there's more coming.
We see that, right?
Yeah, they set it up well.
Yeah. So he mentions that. He also mentioned that he still had some of the, he said he probably had some of the last big batch of unprocessed duotone sheets, and he's got something he's brewing to use those for. And I cannot wait to see that. And he also mentioned that him and Peter first came up with this idea when the turtles started getting big. And he said that they had a conversation one night where they were like, this is getting beyond us. Let's go ahead and write the ending of the story. And apparently this is the ending they've had since like around issue 11 or so of the original run. So
wow.
And how much fun was it, like knowing when this hit solicitation? How much fun was it to try to guess which turtle was the last Ronin turtle.
Because
Remember all
that's
those
going to be one of
conversations?
those things like Jane Foster's
Awesome.
Thor, right? It's going
Yeah.
to be known, common knowledge that Mikey's the last
Mikey's the
Ronin,
last
but
one.
we didn't know for a
No.
long ass time, you know?
And we didn't know till the
Yeah.
end. I think it was what, like the last couple pages of the first issue. Like we didn't quite. There were some hints in the dialogue here and there, like, oh, that's
Yeah.
a real sarcastic comment. That's probably Raph as a ghost, and that's Donnie maybe. You know what I mean? But you didn't know until the end. I think, if I remember correctly, when April was like, "Hey, Mikey," you know what I mean? I was like, "Oh my
It's
god!"
like, who shot Mr. Burns, man?
Of
You know
course,
what I'm saying?
the person that would have the biggest arc probably in that situation would be.
Yeah, no, he definitely, him and like Raph are probably the two that would have the most to grow as characters.
Mm.
But yeah, I'll also freely admit that heaven sequence at the end, like that, like almost got me. Like that got me a little bit. That was a little like, oh my god, it's, you know, it was a little. Yeah. I needed a moment.
It would have been great if Shredder would have showed up, you know, like, oh,
hey guys,
it's all good.
And then, look, his grandson. What is the grandson's name?
Cool,
Hiroto?
right?
He
Something
was
like
Haruko or something like
he
that.
was a badass villain, you know. He kind of had the T-1000.
T1. I was about to be like the T-1000 shit, man.
Yeah, I mean,
watching stuff heal. Yeah,
liquid metal shredder.
But you know, they had a lot of heart. They had a lot of emotion in the dialogue and everything, and like you said, those type of scenes. So yeah, man, I think to me, out of everything I read, that had to be the pick for sure.
Yeah. It looks like October 28th, 2020 was, I think, the first issue.
Ooh.
So
there you go. Oh, I remember they initially, like, the first issue was drawn. They got a different artist. I remember because they did that preview,
like
and then
or whatever. Yeah.
then it came out the Ashcan, that artist not there, but it's all based on Eastman's layouts, right? For my pick of the month, I'm going Ghost Cage.
Okay.
By Nick Dragata. I almost said Nick Patera, but Nick Dragata. I love this book. I think it's amazing. I thought the first issue was great. I love Nick's work here. I loved East of West. I love his, like, the way he like draws figures. I love the way he can draw space and like landscapes and shit like that. But he is 100% going full board Katsuhiro Otomo now, right? And I asked Nick Patera when he was on this show on Thursday, because he knows Nick, obviously. They're Hickman's Nicks. I asked him if he's using real screen tone. He said he did for the first 12 to 13 pages of the first issue, and then realized he didn't have the time to fucking do that. But that's good. It's really good, and it looks just like Akira, like, but not in like some kind of like bullshit kind of way, but in a true like homage kind of way, using the fucking scale of it. And it's an interesting concept. Basic ideas. There's this big tower of power that is providing power to most of this world in this universe. And there's an outage. Everybody's out of power. There's a terrorist attack. So there's somebody loose in that power plant. So this new entity that this dude who runs this power plant has created, who we find out in this issue is going to ultimately rise to be the next form of energy for human consumption. His mission now is to go in there, take care of this eco-terrorist, if you will, and rise up on every level, defeat and absorb all the avatars of the previous forms of energy and become its own thing. And then there's this woman who's just IT expendable employee who's there, who really brings a lot of heart to the story in this issue. I thought it was a cool concept. Love the artwork. In the second issue of 3 extra-sized issues, they really just make it even more compelling and engaging by bringing, like, is that a character's name, Doyle or something like that?
It's Doyle, yeah. The IT help guy, yeah, Doyle.
Yeah, like at first, don't give a shit, right? But then, like, you're in it here, and great fun moments, like when that dude's like, it's raining here because the power plant's leaking, and he looks up, and then that damn fucking something falls out of it and just crushes his ass. Like, I love shit like that. I love the scope, the scale of the artwork, the amazing work with the screen tones, and just how fucking detailed, textured, yet free and clean with room to breathe it is. And a really cool concept, I think, is super solid. That's my pick of the month. What do y'all think?
Nice.
Yeah, solid book.
I like the worst thing about it is on the very last page, it says to be concluded.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about it.
Are you getting hints that the ulterior motive though with him, it's like a Highlander situation in essence, right? He's developed this thing that can consume and then grow as it's consuming. You know what I mean? He wants to be the last one left, that new power source. I'm thinking the implication here is at the end when you see the old man, it's been like holographic up until this point. Then we see him kind of rickety with like a matrix thing in the back of his head, and he can't do anything. It's got to be like a self-preservation act, right? Like part of this whole thing is if I can get enough energy, I can sustain myself and be immortal. Like I'm thinking that's where it's going to go, which would be really interesting.
Yeah, probably 100%. You're right on the money there. I think
that's issue 1.
This is issue 2.
2 came out. Yep.
I feel. I mean, it sounds familiar. I feel like I read it, but it's not ringing a bell. I don't know.
Oh, it's good. Black and white.
I think I maybe just read issue
wild.
1 and that was it. And I thought the story was kind of like a little confusing, maybe, and I didn't read issue 2.
It's worth rechecking out, especially with issue 2 out. And I hope they really nail this conclusion, because I think artistically it's fucking brilliant, you know.
Yeah, I remember the art. It was black and white. It was like manga inspired, like you said, a little Akira, like what environmental, big scope, and all that.
Yeah, and just cool idea. Like I like the idea of the avatars of all these different forms of power, and like one's water based and one's like gas based. We know like the top one's what, nuclear or something like that.
Probably.
So it's kind of got
like
it's got a video
Swamp
game
Thing
kind of thing like that, right? Yeah, Swamp Thing, right? I'm sure we'll be getting to that one. So
oh yeah.
AJW, I did do the the panel. It's not going to be uploaded here on YouTube, but it is streaming on the Facebook page of the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. So if you find their Facebook page, they get a lot of streamed panels, including my Starlin panel, the Eastman panel, and the PCP panel. So you can find it there. And I also shared all those in the PCP Army group on Facebook if you're part of that. So, but I was way too busy to try to set up. Mike was out of town. Otherwise, we would have had it filmed. But it was great. And Kevin said that he would love to join us here at PCP sometime. So,
you got to get him.
We got to hold him to that. We got to put a candle under that fucking.
Hell yeah, that's iconic right there, yo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of iconic, Nick is Nick Conic. Why don't you tell us another book you want to highlight, bro?
Let's see. Again, I'm gonna be in the vein of just books I had a lot of fun reading this past month, and I'm gonna go into. We mentioned Swamp Thing. I'm gonna save that one for a little bit. I'm gonna go into World's Finest issue number 2. Again, it's just a book that I had a lot of fun reading. So we have Mark Waid on here, which is great because we get some great writing in here. We have Dan Mora, we have Bonneville, and we have Aditya Bidikar as well. But this is just a really cool, just interesting story. If you're not happy with where DC is right now with certain characters, you can jump into this one. It definitely has like a classic feel to it for sure. So basically, you know, Superman gets kind of infected with like this kryptonite type virus. He's trying to be relieved of that virus. Some of the Doom Patrol come in here. Batman's involved. They're trying to get Superman back up and running. So it is really, really interesting to see how they all play together. And there's a really cool bit in here with, I think it's Chief from Doom Patrol and Batman just kind of duking it out, seeing who's the smartest man in the room. And they do make some commentary about that, which I loved. And then we get a lot of cool cameos from like Supergirl, and she's hanging around with Robin. There's a lot of like battling going on there because of some past relationship issues that they had. There's some time travel involved, great art, really interesting, really fresh story. I really had a good time reading this one. Visually, it's great. And I can't wait to see what else is happening in this book. But I was super excited that Supergirl showed up in this one because I like the way that she's portrayed. I like her attitude. I like the interaction between her and Robin. I think that was pretty cool. World's Finest number 2. Anybody else reading this one?
I did. I remember thinking issue 1 was just okay, and then issue 2 started off like picking up where issue 1 left off, but it quickly jumped out of that whole thing where Superman was poisoned, and they had to cut him with kryptonite or whatever. But then it turned into this really fun, big story that I was interested in. So I thought it picked the hell up from issue 1, surprisingly.
They added like an interesting, and that's a good point. They added like an interesting thing to it. It's like, what's the meat? Who's behind all this kind of stuff? So there's a little bit of time travel involved. It has that little trope where like way back in the day, there was this guy that just basically ruled the world. There's on some kind of revenge mission, had some daddy issues. He ruled the world. Everybody kind of found a way to encapsulate him, but maybe he's breaking free, and we got to do some investigation. So there's a little bit of a detective element in here.
Did you just make a High School Musical reference?
I don't, not
Breaking
purposefully.
Free?
Right?
Okay.
No, not
Okay.
purposefully. I'll have to look that one up. But
I was at
it's
karaoke last week. These two chicks went up and started singing that, and I was like fucking passionately singing along with them. And everybody's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's High School fucking Musical, man. Yeah, I'm breaking free, anyway.
breaking free." But no,
Actually,
man, it's fun, man.
Yeah, I ended up, having a call with Rachel Pollack after reading that, and because she hasn't read World's Finest yet, but we were talking about Doom Patrol, and I was like, "Yeah, check it out. Doom Patrol's in it." I was telling her about that exact that exchange, Batman had with Calder.
Oh, it's awesome
because it's great. The whole bit of like, this is why do they keep interrupting each other? It's because that they have to be the smartest person in the room. Yep. And so I was explaining that to Rachel, and she thought that it was really great characterization of Dr. Calder and all that. So so that was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love all the cameos too. They brought in some really interesting people, and I do like that. They try to bring in Shazam and things like that. It's fun, man. They're bringing in a lot of people. It's fun. There's a levity to it, but it feels serious at the same time. And Dan Moore is on the art. It's just great. It's a good creative team doing something fun, and it definitely stood out this month. So.
I thought the first issue was a bit overstuffed, and I thought the second issue was way better. I thought it ironed out a lot of stuff. True. Even with the appearance of Doom Patrol, it didn't feel overstuffed like the first one to me. So I like it. I did. Yeah. And Dan Moore's artwork with Tamara's coloring, holy freaking cow.
So
and I'm so pumped for Rachel's Doom Patrol Omnibus to finally release this year, because I've never read any of that stuff. In fact, the only issue I have was gifted me by Two Gun Pedro because it's the first appearance of Codpiece, and that's just a whole bit that we have here.
Nice.
That's a great issue too. But
Yep.
All right, my cat wants to be let out.
And Scott Eaton does the art in that issue, and he does a lot of stuff today. He's still pumping out stuff. So
yeah.
So so that's really cool. But I've really been enjoying World's Finest. It feels like. I feel a lot of people have been mentioning Silver Age, but like it's not. It's more Bronze Age. It feels more Bronze Age, like 70s Brave and the Bold, is what it really feels like. But
it's like if you take that and put like a little bit of a modern twist on it, maybe a modern humor twist on it. I think I would agree.
It feels like a what a Bob Haney comic would be like today.
Right,
and it's just great.
I also get some vibes of the Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness, the very beginning of Batman Superman, like in the early aughts or whatever, where they're bringing in other people. It kind of gives me, because it's like it's World's Finest plus is what it seems like they're trying to do. So it's almost like giving me Byrne Action Comics vibes, a little bit, but with Superman and Robin. And I saw Mark on Brando's channel, Comics Kings, and he said that Robin is as just a part of the character of the main cast as anybody. So I'm excited to see that, though Dick never wore pants. I'm just going to say that
there is a cool I was just about to point that out, where she's carrying him and he's like, nice pants. He's like, I'm trying them out. It was pretty funny.
We're on an interesting dynamic between, you always see Batgirl and Robin, you don't see Supergirl and Robin that much, so it's interesting to see that Kara doesn't like him. I like that. Like, but I don't think she would.
You see, like Robin with John, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like a similar dynamic of Robin with a Superman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the kind of comic where I feel like one issue they could be fighting something like Darkseid, and the next issue could be Crypto and Streaky having a race around the world to see who's faster. Like,
right.
And I would be so happy to read that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't care. Just make it fun. That's all I want.
I'd be down with that. And somehow Ace the Bat Hound wins.
Yeah.
Look at Nikki B. Station.
Oh, Station.
What's up, Nick?
Nick Barucci, this is the time of the show where we tell everybody, go buy some Dynamite Comics. They got some really good stuff out there.
Absolutely.
And, join me over at the Experience tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Nick's got some great stuff lined up for us, including Defenders, like classic Defender stuff, first issue stuff, Marvel Feature 1 and 2, some Doctor Strange, some Moon Knight. I know for some reason a lot of people liking that Moon Knight show, but thank you for the support, Nikki B. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
I still talk about Elvira meets Vincent Price. I just really, that comic really did it for me.
That's a really
that
good
might
book.
be the kind of thing I have to get the trade of as well, because You know, like every once in a while, a book like that comes out where I'm like, I want the trade because I can then I can give that to people too and just be like, read this.
Yeah.
Right.
Really excited for Elvira in Horrorland to pop up because that's her
Yes.
going through different, like she's stuck in a VCR or some shit now. And she's going through,
Oh, yeah.
it's like Stay Tuned, but through horror movies. I'm really excited to see that. So thank you for the support.
That's going to be great. Yeah.
All right. Dynamite Minute's over. Joe, what's the next book you want to highlight?
Next one I want to highlight is the finale to Crimson Cage. This was every single issue of this was great. And the ending delivered. It was, but the thing is, the ending delivers. It's all based on Macbeth. You know what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter. And I love that. And it's just the horrific death of his wife, like all that stuff. Just the imagery, the very final bit, with the murder at the end.
Yeah,
it's very graphic.
Dude, the death of his wife is one of my favorite scenes in the whole book. Like that last match of hers, and then just the way it like slowly. You're like, no, she's gonna make it, right? Like you forget that how Macbeth ends, and you want this. So one of my friends said the only problem is that the book's over. I'm like, but it has to be over. Like, there's not a Macbeth 2.
I mean, don't give Roland Emmerich any ideas or anything, but
Macbeth 2 Electric Boogaloo coming soon to a theater near you.
I'm not reading that one, man.
Yeah, I got to get that.
But this one, so John Lees, Alex McCormick, and Ashley, Alex Cormick rather, and Ashley Cormick. Like, this is like what a team. The art is incredible. I mean, this looks like this isn't like a huge name team or anything like that, but this looks and reads better than almost anything else that's been coming out in the past 5 months. So
it needs to be one of those. To me, John and Alex and Ashley, Alex's wife, especially with the coloring there, they're like that's like Steve Dillon, Garth Ennis, and Matt Hollingsworth. Like that's that level that they're doing with their work on Sync. Like I am so pumped for Sync to come back. I love Alex's work on the Road of Bones, Sea of Sorrows. He can draw insanity in eyes like nobody else. And you get that in this, man. Macbeth in Southern territorial wrestling in the 80s. It's so fucking badass. And John Lee's lined up a couple finales this month and just fucking murdered them. Just murdered because the hotel, holy shit, the way that ended too. Holy cow. John Lee's is awesome. And so is Cormax.
It's crazy. I mean, this book is, and I'm not trying to knock people, but AWA has a lot of books from like all-star teams, like some of the bigger writers and artists you can name. And this wipes the floor with almost all of those books. Yeah. Like, no question. Like, it's crazy how good that book is, and it shows you. Like you do a good story, you put that together. I don't care how big your name is. Like this is that's legit. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see more of.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Nick, you read this one, right?
I don't. I actually got issue number 1, and I waited for the reviews to come through on it, and the reviews were outstanding. And then I think I missed on issue number 2, and I think 3 was around. You know what I mean? It fell into one of those categories, but it's definitely on the radar because it's all I hear about from you guys. It's just like it's the greatest book, man. You got to check it out.
It's so good, and you got to read Sync. If anybody out there has not read Sync, you've got to read Sync. It's about to come back for volume 4 or volume 3, but before that, they're doing a one-shot. So like, even if you can't get a hold of Sync until that one shot for Dig comes out, just fucking read it. It's so good. Horror, crime fiction, Glasgow murder. Like it's fucking awesome. It's brilliant. It's super brilliant. So great. Speaking of brilliant, Jim, what you got? What's another book you want to highlight?
Let's talk about Swamp Thing.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I appreciate Swamp Thing so much more after recently finishing Alan Moore's run, reading Scott Snyder's and then Charles Soule's run, and then seeing what Ron V is adding to, like, you know, the Swamp Thing lore. Now we have Levi, we have a new host and everything, but also adding his touch to a new realm, right? We got that in the Charles Soule run with the whole rhythm, which was, what was it? It was metal, or what was the rhythm was made out of? Bass? I don't know. That was R&B.
I don't know. I dipped out of the Soul run, I think, halfway through.
Oh, the Soul run was better than the Snyder run, I thought, yo.
Really? I don't know.
Anyway,
you had Paquette on the art in the Snyder one. Anyway,
so now we got this new realm of industry, the realm of like what man has created.
Yeah, the Parliament of Gears. That's so fucking dope, man.
From Hexus, man, from fucking Fern Gully and shit. You know what I mean? So I'm digging it. You know, the art is up on par. It feels like you can't even do Swamp Thing artwork. The shoes, it's so hard to fill those shoes that have been, you know, laid decades and decades ago with this big elaborate calligraphy with vines and trees. But, you know, keeping up with that, adding to the rich art that we've had in all those Swamp Thing runs, and adding, like I said, the new realm, the new avatar at the end was a nice touch. So we have to figure out who that is or how that works. But yeah, man. So damn, Swamp Thing, Rom V, season 2. It's called now, right? Because it's 16 issues.
Yeah, I hope they do. Just make this a fucking ongoing, man.
No,
I don't give a
real.
shit. Why
are we farting around here with that?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, this book is fucking awesome.
It's nickel and dime and Ron V with 8 issues here and there.
Apparently, that's what they do at DC. But they put him on detective, and he'll make more money. You know, he'll make more sales there. But this is the book. Like, this needs to be like a 50+ issue run.
Yeah.
This is up there with, like you said, Alan Moore, Scott Snyder, Rick Veitch, Nancy Collins. Like,
it sits on the shelves with those stories for sure.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. Creating, like, who gives a shit that it's not Alec Holland anymore?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Nobody.
They
artwork,
ran Alec Holland through the ringer. We can't do any more Alec Holland, yo.
I know, right?
He can't handle it.
At least Snyder had a different approach to it that kind of worked for his run. I thought, where he was actually resurrected or whatever.
No, yeah, he kind of made it where, hey, everything that happened with Alan Moore has really happened, but that was an avatar that had the memories and thought he was you. But
bro, because like the first time you read that Alan Moore issue where he finds out that Alec's dead and he died,
right? Oh, exactly. Bro. So they resurrect him in the Snyder run. So now this is Alec Holland for real.
Yeah. But dude, like you were saying, like the artistic heritage that you have to step into when you're doing a Swamp Thing book, you can't just be an extra regular ass jobber out there and fucking turn this shit
in. Regular panels.
Yeah. It's got to be organic. It's got to have amazing composition and design and panel layouts and shit like that. It's got to do that. And Mike Perkins, like, dude, Mike Perkins, this is the dude who did that Lois Lane run by Greg Rucka that I didn't really like that much. Didn't really like the art. Holy shit, does it work here? Like, it fucking works, man. And it levels the fuck up. This is my second book of the month, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nick? I know you're loving it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm loving it. And what's cool is, I mean, a lot goes on in this issue. You might not even realize it, but I mean, like, a lot happens in here, right? We basically have another paradigm, right, or whatever they call them.
Right.
We talk about the
realm. I thought would say
whatever. Yeah. We have like and we touch base on it a little bit in Green Hell, because in Green Hell, that's when you get introduced. You don't get introduced, but you get reminded.
So good,
different. It is.
Where's issue 2 of that?
Oh, God, I know.
I don't know.
But like the rot, the green, what was it? The red. You know what I mean? And now you have like what I like to consider as like the Industrial Revolution, like the Gears route, the Gears paradigm, right?
Oil, grime,
the man-made one, the less organic one, the one that's going to kind of taint everything else in a way. But the ending was really great too. I mean, we have like this nuclear avatar as well, like this weird element called Trinity, and she looks pretty badass too. So I'm wondering how this is going to blend together. Like, is she an ally? Is she not? I mean, we'll figure it out. But
because it looks like she's showing up a villainess, but then you get the feeling it's probably a bait and switch or something, right?
Well, I mean, like her birth is out of destruction too. You know what I mean? It's like nuclear in nature. It's like this residue all over the desert that just kind of like over time forms together and forms like this other avatar. So there's a lot of chips on the table right now. We don't exactly know what's going to happen. We know a clear villain. We have a clear protagonist and antagonist, but like, where's she going to fit in? It's going to be pretty fun to figure it out. And the art's killer. We said that every single month. So
They also like wrap up the loose ends with hit the Levi's family dynamic with his brother. That was like the big finale of, I guess they call it
relationship too.
Now.
Yeah, like
Right.
crushing it to like a coal or diamond like state and just
it would
kind
have
of
been
dropping
criminal if it would have ended at issue 10. It would have been
Oh,
fucking criminal.
But
Like,
it would have worked. It would have worked, but it would have been criminal.
It would have worked, but like half of that was the Suicide Squad tie-in, and I'm glad that like he didn't have to tie in shit here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Drunken
there hasn't
Sailor
been that
says
since. Yeah.
maybe the reason is it's not an ongoing because Ron B wants to end it there and move on. Maybe, but it doesn't matter what Ron fucking wants. It matters what we want, right?
I feel like Ron B is
friend of the show.
He's definitely down to people please and write some shit that everybody is digging, I would think, because I want to bring up one of his other books. I'll wait if we see if we get another round or not. But
dude, he's on what? He's on Swamp Thing, he's on Carnage, he's on Venom.
Carnage.
He's gonna be on Detective.
Yeah.
Venom,
Venom
I'm finding myself let down, but Carnage is the shit.
Yeah. But he's gonna be on like 5 DC books. I don't know if at the same. I'm not sure what the time frames are with these books.
Yo,
but
he's working right now, man.
If Aquaman and Detective come out pretty soon, that's like what 5 DC books at the same time. The dude's taking over, and couldn't be happier about it.
The real cool thing about him too is that he's always going to have something creator owned going at the same time. So then you're gonna get like. I feel like Venom, Carnage. I like them. Catwoman was okay. Like Detective Comics, I think is going to reach a little bit further.
I passed on Catwoman, but I'm excited for Detective.
Yeah, it's just
Catwoman's pretty good.
There's certain work.
But Tamaki did her thing until just the last arc. I think her entire run was solid, but the last arc for me just fell off.
Yeah, and now they're just doing some kind of Riddler fucking shit that they have to. But
because Riddler's hot. So hot right now.
I guess.
Right
they gave him the stupid fucking mustache. Jesus. Okay. All right. But it is what it is.
I forgot about that part when I reviewed it, but he's like a podcaster or a YouTuber or whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do. Joe, you reading Swamp Thing?
I am behind, but I have enjoyed it so far.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, it's good.
No, I don't know. But I will also push the Nancy Collins run for anyone who hasn't read it. It is hands down one of the best runs.
I got it. I need to read that. Book. Is it solid? It's up there.
There are points where it absolutely rivals Moore's run
because they have the art. The artwork is some of the it's like the DC Vertigo vibe.
Yeah, because that was during the transition from DC into Vertigo.
Oh, okay. Dang, I gotta check this one out.
And Nancy Collins was living in New Orleans when she was writing it.
Nice.
So there's a lot of like local flavor and stuff like that added to it. She pulled in some of like the myths and urban legends from the area as like things he had to fight. She kind of like perfectly blends the original Bernie Wrightson Len Wein run with the Moore run and takes like elements of both and really plays with them. Like it's really impressive.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I definitely it's on my to do. I just wanted to give a Swamp Thing breather. I think I just did like
you went ham, bro.
Huh?
You went ham, and they're about to do an absolute edition of the Len Wein Bernie Wrightson stuff that's going to be recolored by a guy who criticizes recolorings of modern editions of old stuff. So I'm really excited to see that.
I can't wait for that.
It'll be painted in irony.
That's the only reason why I haven't jumped on the absolute Swamp Things by Alan Moore. It's because I'm worried about the recoloring. I don't know.
See, that was my first time experiencing it, and it looks good, so I don't know. Yeah. I think if you've read it and you're fond of the original, you might not like the recoloring. You know what I'm saying? But for someone like me who is more new to the game, but I would rather. I sold the absolutes. I can't collect everything. You know what I'm saying? But I would like them to do an omnibus of that material with the original coloring would be dope. I don't know why that's not a thing.
Yeah, that would be cool. It can't be as jarring as the recoloring of Killing Joke, which I fucking hate.
Well, see, in the absolute of that, they added it twice because they just to kind of justify an absolute. It's a thin story for an absolute is usually like 12 issues or something at least.
They did that with Batman Year One, and that's one of the reasons why I actually want that absolutes because they do it with the new coloring and they do it with the original coloring, like on a newsprinty type paper.
I love it. That absolute is so good.
Well, this week I'm either buying Absolute Batman Year One or the Nancy Collins Swamp Thing because Joe keeps talking that one up. All right, for me, for my next book, I'm going to highlight Girl Scouts Stone Ghost, issue number 6, the final issue by Jim Mahfood of the fourth volume of Girl Scouts. I love this dude's artwork, y'all. And I've been a fan of him since I first read his stuff with the Kevin Smith Clerks books. And his art is way different now. I remember when I got Miami Vice Remix, and I was like, his art style is so different. I didn't necessarily like it at first. I have really gotten into it. He still uses actual screen tone. He does his own commentaries on his own YouTube channel, but the artwork is just fucking wild. That's great. Even if you've never read a Girl Scouts book, you can start this book. You will be fucking confused, but it starts really coming together by issue 3. Even having read all the other Girl Scout stuff, I was lost as fuck because it feels like it's way out of place when it starts, but then it does eventually tie it all together. The artwork is super gnarly. You get lots of different media being used, like splatter, like those screen tones, hand lettering by Jim Mahfood, which I think is fucking awesome. And now when I go back and read other Girl Scout books, I'm like, oh man. But dudes, there is something so fucking wild about this book through the composition, and the story has like this resonating theme of like loss and how to find yourself after you've lost. Like, it's about a woman who just lost her lover, her husband died of cancer. And she's just on this mission to go find his ashes, which for some reason have been taken by this evil fucking space empire. Who knows why? Because it's fucking ridiculous. But y'all can tell what kind of book this is from the artwork. Violent, super underground, gnarly. Anybody else reading this book?
No, I keep hearing you talk good things about it. I got to find them all.
Oh,
looks so really cool.
You can get the trades pretty easily. The volume 2 is actually more difficult to get, which is called Work Sucks. But you could just get this like Diamond. You can still get every issue from Diamond. So your shop, when they're telling you they can't get it, they're lying to you.
I'll let them know.
The book is fucking awesome. The trade will be out soon. If you like this, I would highly encourage you to check out the volume before this, which is called Magic Socks. But all of the Girl Scouts are worth it, and every bit of work from Jim Mahfood is worth it. In fact, Jim, I just picked up one I think you might like from him, Joe Casey, and Ziggy Marley called Marijuana Man. And it's fucking awesome. So there you go.
Is this a volume 3? What is this? This Girl Scout? Is it volume 3 technically, or what?
This is book 4 is what they're on right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's been going since like the early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come out very often. But Jim Mahfood is like refocused. He had also just lost a friend from cancer. And he's using some of those feelings and directing them into this book. And it never loses its shit. Like there's this like thing in the back where like these two fucking like alien entities are like a father-son going to a fucking comic book. And there's one where they're going through 90s comics and they start reading it. And this guy like fucking like just murders this group of people and grabs this dude's head and starts skull fucking it. And then the dude's like, whoa, kid, I think this is a bit extreme for you.
As you do.
And then he's like, Faust is psychosexual or something like that. It's fucking awesome, man. It's really cool stuff. So if you like something different, something unique, something quirky, if Red Room is not quite far enough for you,
it just doesn't get you off enough. You gotta.
You've never seen anything like Girl Scouts. Never.
Wow.
Never. All right, we got time. Nick, what's another book you want to highlight?
Well, I think this is a decent segue. You talked about something that's just completely out there. This is a book I haven't seen a whole lot of people talking about, and I had a really interesting experience while reading it. But this is from Behemoth. It's Vermilion, issue number 1. I didn't see a lot of people picking this up. There wasn't a whole lot of copies pulled at my shop. I think this is from its writer and artist, Brao. I don't know if that's Barrow or anything like that, but I've never heard of the artist or writer. But interesting book. I mean, on the surface, it's basically this guy. He's kind of at a club. He sees this girl. There's a lot of inner monologue. Pay attention to me, and then they kind of lock eyes. And she's kind of looking for a good time. Buys her drinks. They go to like her place, do some drugs. And one thing leads to another, and then it leads into this really tragic ending. But as you're reading this book, first off, the artwork is captivating. It's really nice. It's got that black and white. And then it's got that red splash in there too. So you really get to see what we were talking about in like Red Room and books like that, where the artwork is very, very, just stands out a lot. It's got some interesting paneling, some 9-panel grids mixed in with some, larger panels down here whenever it needs to accentuate just like the facial expressions and whatnot. But as you're reading this book, if you're someone like me who grew up on Slipknot, you're going to realize that Vermilion has a couple of different meanings on here. The inner monologue of the character that you're reading through is actually, it's the lyrics of Vermilion Part 1 and Part 2. So if you're familiar with the song, if you're not, go on Spotify, go on YouTube, look up Vermilion from Slipknot. There's like a heavy metal version and an acoustic version. But I got about halfway through this book and I'm like, why do I know this story already? Like I already know the feeling. I already know where this is going, I think. And I'm like, holy shit, this is actually a Slipknot song in comic book form. And it's just amazing. It was so fun to like realize that halfway through and then continue through the story and watch like this super tragic ending. And it's really interesting. But basically, I mean, the song could be interpreted a few different ways, but I think one interpretation could just be maybe you just have so much self-loathing, so much you're missing in your own life. So you unfairly project the cure on somebody else, perhaps a female, and you fall in love with that idea. And then you kind of pursue that idea, but like you're afraid of what that might actually do and what that actually makes you, how it makes you feel about yourself when you obtain that. It's really weird. It's a really cool book. So if you have a chance to pick up Vermilion, I would pick it up and then I would listen to the songs as well because they just go together so well. Anybody else reading this?
No, see, so that was a book that I actually order from every distributor, the initial orders at my shop, except for Diamond. And so that includes the Behemoth order. So the fella who does those orders, I think, saw the cover and thought it was a little too racy. And so we only had a handful of copies that wound up being the exact amount of pre-orders. So I didn't get a copy to read, but I hear really good things about it from customers and friends from the shop. So I was already sold, and I saw that you gave it a very positive review, but you really just lost me when you mentioned it was based on the Slipknot song. I'm going to be honest with you.
There's an acoustic version.
That's like those people that tell me like, oh man, these Insane Clown Posse comics are really good.
Oh, no. Acoustic version. Listen, if you don't like the heavy metal stuff that they do, there's an acoustic version, and it's
Why do you think it's because I don't like heavy metal? Come on, man.
Don't worry, there's a heavy metal version. There's a heavy metal version because
you think all I listen to is Dave Matthews and Jack Johnson? Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
No,
a real fan would just call him Dave though, because they all just call him Dave.
You're right, or DMB. Yeah, I do.
Or
DMB. I do. Well, he's coming to my town. We just built a new amphitheater. It's already sold out. I didn't buy tickets because they wanted $200 for like regular ass fucking tickets, and I'm like,
jeez.
I love Dave, but not that much.
Dave and Tim is outstanding. Yeah, if you get to see it. Anyway, we digress. Awesome book. Really caught me off guard. Really, really cool. I didn't read it. Was that in y'all's radar at all?
Oh,
it was not, but it is now. So
I saw that Jim Rugg picked it up. So I'm like, the art's got to be interesting.
Oh yeah, right? It's killer. Yeah, it's very much in his style too. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Joe, what's another book you want to highlight?
I'd like to highlight. Corollary #1 from Source Point Press. This is I picked this up because I knew Robert Ahmed, the artist on here, and also Cameron Kirkhow, who I could be butchering the name, I don't know, but just did that Kickstarter Giglamesh, and that was one of the better Kickstarter books I've read in a little bit. So I was happy to see him as the editor. But yeah, Robert does this stuff where it's like the digital watercoloring, and I just love it. I think that stuff's just gorgeous.
Oh wow, hold on, let me
that looks nice.
Sure. Bring you up here. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, like it's really nice looking book. So it's a sci-fi kind of adventure thing, but there's this space dragon, she's flying around, there's a twist at the end. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I saw that one pass by my shop and I was like, man, do I need another book this week? But if it's still there, I might check it out. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's very pretty, it's interesting, I like it a lot.
I feel bad because I used to really try to spotlight Source Point, and then it just hit a point where I was like, I think I've read 23 of these books in a row and don't like them. So I for the most part, I just kind of skip out on them. But that looks really cool. I have to check that out, man.
Yeah. No, every once in a while, Source Point puts out a decent book.
Yeah, there was one what was the one I loved from them the most? It was called The Misplaced. Oh, I fucking love that book. I loved that book. Yeah. Really cool stuff.
they seem like they're starting to get a bit better again. So we'll see.
For a time there, it was like a race between them and Scout overtook them, I think.
Yeah, like hard.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah.
All right, Jim, what you got, man? What's another book you want to highlight?
Well, now I kind of see why I'm invited, because it's like bring on the basic guy who's going to have just all the Marvel and DC titles. But that's a good balance. You guys got all these indie books. Yeah. I'm going to highlight Punisher, man. Jason Aaron's Punisher is on issue 2. Yeah. I really liked issue 1, issue 2 even better. He hits the family dynamic the hardest for me with it when it comes to Frank, man. I just recently read his Max run for the first time, and it's like I had to stop reading this shit for a second. And the whole kind of motive behind him being an assassin for the Hand, with their promise to resurrect his wife and kids. We see his wife resurrected with these bullet wounds on her body as they're laying in bed, and she's still not really sure what's going on. Thinks, I don't know if she's coming out of a dream or something like that. But
she has amnesia or something. She doesn't know.
There's something along those lines. But then promise of bringing his kids back, so it makes sense. I'm trying to think of what else happened in the issue if anyone wants to back me up. But I remember just being like, man, Jason Aaron, man, and I love how there was like all this controversy leading up to it. But the book is really awesome. So I mean, to me, that's just like, I don't know, the sweet victory of that. Hopefully, it stays on course though, because it's only issue 2. I don't want to have to eat my words.
I know. I was really worried. I was very excited for issue 2 to see where it would go. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like this version of Punisher. Here's the thing. I was going through I have some Punisher books, right? Because Punisher's a fascinating character to me because nobody ever knows what the fuck to do with them. There's only so long that you can keep a book going where all he's doing is just mowing down fucking people. Yeah, so like they tried the most weird shit with Frank Castle. They made him a black dude for a while. They made him a Frankenstein fucking monster. He was an avenging fucking angel. Like, it's just so weird, some of the things they do. So
he was Ghost Rider.
Yeah, right. So him being, you're right. He is Cosmic Ghost Rider.
He's Ghost, but he's still Cosmic Ghost Rider.
You get one Frankencastle, Sponisher, like all this shit.
Then how the hell does someone like Jason Aaron, who's already written the hell out of him, come back with another one? Like,
I know, but it's an interesting take, right?
Right.
Like,
Sure.
And now he's like, so there's nothing new about the idea that he's been serving death or something like this whole time. There's this violent part of him. The one thing that does make me trepidatious is it seems like they're trying to set up something about the young Frank Castle, which seems whatever, but at the same time, it's tied into this whole, like, he's like the pick of he's like the Dalai Lama of assassins, of murder. Yeah. Like they're asking him, do any of these weapons belong to you? Shit like that. So that's an interesting concept. And then the fact that he can't tell his wife that the kids can't come back because they mentioned already that they're like shredded beyond recognition. Like, and they already shown like they'll bring you back. They brought Elektra back. She still has those wounds. Yeah. They brought his wife back. She still has those wounds. So there's going to be something there. And obviously Frank's not on board with working for the Hand this entire time. You know what I'm saying? So I really, and I like the artwork. I really like the artwork. Some people thought it was too clean and 3-dimensional, but I like Jesus Saez when he works like this. And I think it's a fucking great book. And I also love that Frank's never learned how to use a sword in any kind of like, like martial way, like of artistic way or anything. Yeah. So I like it. What are y'all thinking?
Yeah, I love the book. Art wise, I will say I don't really enjoy the art. I like the art when Paul's on it, and because it reminds me of like Outcast. So I really like it when those a couple little panels, especially like I think that's the first page. We see Kid Punisher just kind of sitting back, just kind of getting scolded by the principal or whoever it was. So when that happens, I'm all about it. I do like that. But this book is interesting because we were trying to think like, okay, we saw the emblem change, so we had our assumptions about how that can happen, right? And so we realized pretty quickly, oh, he's going to get something what he wants. But what's in it really for the Hand? And this is the issue where it really kind of goes into what's in it for the Hand. Like, why would they want him on his side? Yeah, he's a great killer, but he's kind of been on trial his entire life, and they touch base on that too. I didn't mind the kid stuff because it did complement the overall goal of the issue, which is, oh, we know what Frank wants. What does the Hand want? The Hand wants another god of death, essentially. And they've been kind of putting him on trial his entire life. And the test, it's like Indiana Jones, like which cup of Christ, pick the right one. And he chose correctly, and so we're going to see what that does The ending was a little bit weird. We brought in like Ares, God of War, things like that. The fight scene was pretty interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I thought we're going to get a Daredevil tie-in a lot quicker than we're getting it, but maybe they just want to push the first arc out first before they get Daredevil in here with Elektra. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's been pretty fun. I love the story. Art, not
You
so
don't like
much.
the
But
art? Really?
It's growing on me, but
I didn't mind the art, and I'm glad you brought up that part because a buddy of mine on another channel, Pressable Defects, he didn't like how they kind of portrayed him as a kid with the roadkill and giving him like serial killer or like whatever vibes.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. I just thought, oh, okay, so he's been effed up since he was a kid. Let's go, move forward. Like it didn't really affect me, but I could see his point of why he felt like that didn't make sense because he was good enough to go into the military afterwards, and he didn't have this kind of like therapy as a child over his head or whatever.
Yeah, like Punisher Born to me is a better exploration of the sickness that is within Frank Castle before
Ennis,
he even becomes. Yeah, that's the Ennis Derek Robertson stuff. And
right.
That's a really great. That's probably my favorite Punisher story is Born.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely didn't need it, but I didn't mind it. Yeah,
I got you, Joe. You reading Punisher at all?
Yeah, it's I like it enough. I'm still waiting for it to like justify itself in a more meaningful way because I'm still like I get people feeling that this is enough motivation for Frank to like get his family back, but I also don't feel like there's a version of Frank that's willing to have his family come back as like weird,
right? Yeah, that's weird.
It's a stretch. Yeah,
it's a desperate move, right? Like,
yeah. So like I'm still not. I still need that bit. Like I'm still waiting for the what else does Frank have planned moment. Like what's the end game here? Is he
really going to take down the Hand instead or some shit like that? Or
so I'm still like there's interesting stuff going on here because I don't want to like just put down that way of doing it when it's like, oh, well, what's the alternative? Is Frank just going to do the same shit he does every other comic, or are we going to give him some other weird thing to do? Are we going to put him in space again? Or are we going to make him a werewolf? What are we going to do? So I appreciate
Frank Wolf would be really cool, by the way.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
I would.
You should write that, Joe. You should pitch that to Marvel. I know.
I'd be more than happy to. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm cautious about it. I still want there to be a little more on this plan and what he really wants to do, if this really is the goal, if he's actually like happy about that, like I'm just missing that little bit, and then once we get that,
I think we'll get that. We got to get that. I think Jason Aaron wouldn't leave that hanging like that.
Yeah,
and
I don't think he plans on stretching this out like Avengers.
Yeah,
either.
Yeah, he's still writing that, right? I can't get into the Avengers.
I'm done. I'm like so over it, and I know I don't give a shit about this AVX thing because I'm not reading X-Men, Eternals, or fucking Avengers, man.
Yeah. But now there's another. Is that the one where? Is that the big battle book that's coming up with the big celestial looking thing?
Yeah, man, that's the big thing coming up, right? So and I'm sorry, just wait till we get Punisher 1 billion BC. And then then we realize it's jumped the shark and it's over.
Well, that's Berserker, right? Like that would be Berserker.
Yeah, kind of. All right, so Punisher, Jim said it. So it's on me again already? All right. Oh, yeah, it's because y'all two picked a book that nobody else had read. Bloodstained Teeth.
Oh, I was going to say this one.
Holy cow. Vampire fiction and comics kind of been there, done that. There's been a lot of vampire books over the last several years. A lot. Some of them good, some of them okay. This one slapped. Like the way the world building is done, the Society of Vampires, a lot of it very familiar, but that artwork, holy freaking cow. Like most vampire books would be gritty and textured. This is gritty and textured, but it's not like dark and muddy with the colors. The colors are very vibrant and like pop art, like Andy Warhol type shit, right? I fucking love it. I thought the artwork really helped sell this book for me. The main character he's a pure blood vampire who turns humans into vampires for money. He's like a vampire for hire. The pure bloods have this whole thing where it's frowned upon to turn other vampires. And there's this whole bit at the end where they find out that he's been turning people, and now he's have to go and kill everybody that he's turned or some shit like that. But the artwork fucking blew me away. And it's Patrick Reynolds and the colors by Heather Moore. Not familiar with them. I am familiar with Hassan Otsman El How on the lettering. I love it.
He puts in a lot of work, man. Oatsmain, what's his face?
It's Otsman El How. Yeah, Otsman El How. Hassan Haas, and he's got a great YouTube channel called Strip Panel Naked.
I mispronounce the hell out of that name every time.
Oh, dude, it's the two best letters right now. Hard to pronounce their names. It's Bidikar and fucking Otsman El How.
Yeah.
I did.
But the artwork is absolutely fucking amazing.
It's colorful too, man. Look at that.
God, it's so. Hey, what do y'all think? Y'all read that book? I know Jim did.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I read it.
They if you like Underworld, the first one, it feels like that. Like they flesh out this world and hierarchy of vampires and mythos, and it's rich, and it has a nice Art Deco palette color to it, right? Wasn't it like it's a gritty line work drawn book, but with like these colors that should be bright, but they're not bright. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I really dug it, man. It feels like Robbie said. I think I even kind of mentioned this. Yeah, another vampire book. It's not even based on a specific character. It's just this vampire book. But they're like, no, you don't understand. We're gonna dig deep into this shit and give you such a rich environment. And that's what they do. They totally pull it off. I was hooked. I loved it. I'm gonna keep up with that one for sure.
What'd you think, Joe?
Absolutely, I agree. I really liked it. I can't believe because my initial, I didn't even look at the art inside the book. I was like, I'm buying a Christian Ward comic that he's not drawing. I don't feel great about that.
I know, right? Me too.
But then I'm like reading. I'm like, oh wow, okay, the art is great. All right, this is good. But yeah, I love the feel of it. The color work is phenomenal. It really carries the mood and sells the book for me. It's definitely the best new #1 vampire book I read this month.
Well, there you go.
Undoubtedly. Yeah.
Not to say DC versus vampires is pretty cool.
It's all right. I was about to drop out of that, and then they announced that Alex Pagnadell was doing one of the fucking tie-ins, and I was like,
it's kind of fun, man. I don't know.
It's fun.
It's one of those things where anyone could die and be a bad guy. Superman's bad.
A bad guy is Nightwing.
Right.
Oh my god. What the fuck ever. But I get it. It's okay. It's fun. It's no deceased though, but it is.
No,
did you read this one, Nick? Bloodstained Teeth?
No, I did not. My shop's got a couple copies though, so I'm probably gonna go back and try to see if I can pick it up though.
It's worth it. I mean, vampires are way done right now. It's time for a werewolf renaissance. But it's the coloring really. It gave me like Blade feels, and the main character is a little bit like Deacon Frost meets Constantine.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with you there.
Yeah, so it's like Stephen Dorff Deacon Frost, not the old man Deacon Frost from Tomb of Dracula, which I just got his first appearance yesterday, so I'm very excited. Like Tomb of Dracula 13, I think. So hell yeah.
Nice.
Let's do another round before we wrap up. Nick, what you got?
Sure.
Let's go. Man, I just did I did Behemoth. So I'm gonna go back into DC because I think this is a book that was probably pretty popular. This is Josh Williams over on Rogues issue number 2. And so we got Leo Max, we got Lopes, and we have Jason Wordie on this one. Now I'm gonna be the first to admit I'm not like super knowledgeable about the actual rogues that are here, but it doesn't matter because it's just like the interactions between them. I don't know what it is. It doesn't read like a comic book. It reads kind of like a movie or a TV show. And the fact that like there's a lot of character interactions in this. There's not a whole lot of action in this book, but it's still engaging and it's just interesting. And they let these scenes breathe. There's scenes in this book where you don't normally see that kind of interaction between two people. They take the time to kind of flush things out, have those conversations. The art style is really incredible. This is basically our team. Yeah, right. And then Garad. Oh my God. He's like gangster.
First of all,
like
let's talk about
Garage.
New Gorilla City. I'm trying to go and see what's happening. That shit was like
yeah,
underground Vegas.
Right. Yeah. They kind of like travel through the jungle. First off, that was a great scene. And that was a really awesome. It's kind of like Wakanda in a way. It's like, no, it's just like a jungle. No, there's a hidden thing in here.
They had the treehouse fake out above
exactly.
ground.
It's like the red light district version of Wakanda, man. It's so like fucking like Rat Pack. I fucking love
seedy,
it.
Right?
It's gangster. It's seedy. There's a cool feel to it. Like there's a lot of servants to grab, but there's a lot of people that just want to stab him in the back and take power. So I mean, like there's a lot of politics going on in Grodd City right now. The rogue's trying to assess the situation, but there's a lot of great character moments in here. Interesting dialogue. It's just a fun book. It's just really, really fun. I had a feeling I was going to like it just based on the solicitation for number 1 and just the art style that I saw on the covers. But I mean, after reading it, it's like, it's everything I wanted it to be and more. So it's a really fun read. So I can't wait for more of those.
Williamson had an absolutely super solid run on Flash. Right. And part of that is anybody that has a good run on Flash has a good understanding of the rogues. They're the blue collar rogues gallery. Joe, we talked about that on the comic book villains podcast.
We did.
That will one day release, I promise. So he gets that. So the characterizations are spot on, but they're in a different zone. Like they're all trying to make it go for like the normal life, right?
Yeah, they've been there, they've done that, they're moved on. They're
this is not raw for everybody, yo.
Yeah,
right. And this is not like a typical. This is not a Grodd you will typically see, but the character is still acting as if the character, like as true to the character.
Yeah,
just in a different setting. Josh Williamson, I think this is the best book he's doing right now. Is Rogues. Rogues fucking amazing.
That's fun.
I agree. I think this is the best book he's doing. Even I'm still liking Robin. But,
Robin's great.
I think this is the best thing he's doing. Yeah. And the thing with this book is at the end of the day, this is like, a double-sized issue more or less, but it felt like a full graphic novel's like worth of material was in it.
Yeah.
It packs a lot in. And my biggest problems with a lot of comics that come out now is the pacing, like at the big 2, like there's just so much stretching stuff, but this really felt like just perfectly paced.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's like an R-rated Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Like Captain Cold, he'll lose it. Like he is not playing by the comic book code authority anymore. Like this guy is done.
Yeah.
And it's so raw like that. And I think that's why it doesn't feel like a comic book, because they're acting more like how people on the hot new TV show would act. Like I'm watching Ozark. This is like Ozark level shit. You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense. So that's right. That's funny. We're all for reading that. I love the magazine format, dark Black Label shit.
For sure.
I feel like I don't got to worry about it. I rough it up. I treat it like a floppy tray. Like I don't give a shit, And it's oversized artwork, So I don't know. I'm digging it.
It's great.
No,
is it on me now? It's on Joe.
So good. Yeah, it is on me now, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Robbie, what are you gonna do?
What do we do?
Guy, he's his own show. He's out of here.
All right. Well, I guess I'll pick another one here. I'm gonna go with someone that I believe Robbie's also a fan of, Michael Marici, with AWA's The Joneses, number 1. And this is like, indie superhero fare, but I've been a big fan of Michael's from when he was doing Hoax Hunters. Did you get that, Robbie? I was
The Joneses,
number 1.
Yeah, number 1 from Michael Marici. I was like, you're a fan of his, right?
I do like Michael's work a lot. Wasted Space, one of my favorite comics of the last 10 years.
Yeah, so it's indie superhero fare, but he does such great character work with the family. It's really, about the family, and the idea is, there's some people with powers. A lot of people don't have them. You're getting this like neighborhood watch is kind of being created in their neighborhood to keep the neighborhood safe from these people with superpowers. So you're getting all of this like family tension and drama like within the household, and I think it just really works, and the art's pretty great too. Alessandro Vitti. I mean, there's some, it's solid indie superhero kind of comic work there. So.
It's good. It gives me like Incredibles, Fantastic Four kind of vibes a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's a solid comic. I love Michael. I like seeing his name on stuff.
I hate that cover though. I hate the cover.
The cover
it looks like I don't know, like third grade Pixar wannabe. I don't know.
Yeah, and the other cover is like worse. So
it is, and that's Zendaya on the cover, right? I mean, if you hold that cover up again, that's her. And then if you look at some other people on there, you can almost identify. Like, how is that not
that's
her? Right?
Obviously just tracing Zendaya. Like
exactly. I tried to figure out who the other people were.
That's Greg Horn.
I was talking about the other cover that I hated so much. Is
that Greg Horn or no?
Let me see who did this cover.
That's got to be Diodato that did that cover that you got.
I think this is
right.
the Diodato
The
cover.
other cover is like a Greg Horn type thing where it's like airbrushed photo realistic but stagnant. I don't know.
Isn't there a cover like they're doing yard work or something like that? And then the cover.
Yeah, the yard work cover is awful.
That's the cover I was talking about.
I think that's why I didn't pick it up. I'm like, this is all stupid. I don't want to.
It's a cool book. Michael's a good guy.
That's cool.
This ended up being a good book.
Awesome.
But the cover's the detriment. The problem is, like, if I didn't know Michael, I probably wouldn't have picked up this book. But I'm like, I know Michael. I trust his books. I can pick it up. And that turned it out being fine. So I'm like, comics, selling comics 101. Don't have covers that blow.
We have quite a few people in the chat that said they didn't pick it up because of the covers. Michael, by the way, friend of the show, has a movie about to be debuting. So Revealer that he co-wrote with Tim Seeley. So I'm really excited to check that out and hopefully to have Michael back on the show, because when he was on the show last time, he had internet problems and it fucking sucked. Let me just tell you that. It was the biggest disappointment of my YouTube career. But
no, he's great. I really love his stuff. So
I gotta check that out.
All right, Jim, what else you got?
So I highlighted a DC book, a Marvel book. Let's show some Boom love. I gotta talk about Berserker, man. I love this series. Anytime that it comes out, it's such a refreshing read. You breeze right through it. You wish that it was longer. We get a little bit more every now and then, right? So now we got this kind of origin of this electricity that seems to have tapped the womb of his mother. And was it divine? What's it called from Pulp Fiction? Divine intervention.
Divine intervention.
Was it divine intervention? Was it technology? And then what is going on? So he has some type of new power that they're like testing him, and they're poking and prodding, and he's got this type of crazy energy power now towards the end or so.
Yeah, the last issue or two were kind of confusing. Like, what was that? It was like a nuclear bomb went off, right?
But that's him though, right? So they're kind of like testing his power. Like if he just holds real tight, like Luigi in Super Mario 2, and then he could jump really high. So I don't know. Anyway, but no, I really love the story. I'm intrigued. I want to know the origin. I like the badass Wolverine type of character. I like how he's been along for so long, and they're really delving into the eras and how many thousands of years have passed. What's it, 80,000 years? So super interesting story. I'm more speaking of it as a whole, but the issue that came out this month specifically, I like it when they inch towards an explanation on something that I'm intrigued in. Where the hell did this guy come from? What's his origin? We're getting closer.
Yeah. Jim, I'm glad you picked this book because it's fantastic. It's been fantastic, and it's so economic. Like, looking at it, it's only on issue 8?
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Like, they have moved this story into directions that I did not anticipate it going. I thought it would just be a very simple story like Decorum was, Nick, about, just a dude who's immortal who the government's trying to like figure out what to do with, right?
Yeah.
But now I
So
feel
that's
like
one part of it, yeah.
yeah, and I feel like the story now is wrapping in around itself, and it's going to eventually get to this metaphysical level where it's taking it very quickly, but out of nowhere. So like if you break it down, like this is issue 8, this is the end of the second book. Like, whoa, what the fuck is going on, And I just think it's fucking amazing.
I'm gonna get the shades, yo.
Yeah, man, let me get the shades. I think it's fucking great. What's his name? Anute? I don't fucking know. But dude,
Right.
and I buy every fucking foil cover, so I bought 2 issues of every fucking issue of Berserker. So I hope this shit fucking pops off on Netflix or some shit. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
but the book is
no, but
good.
see, it's not even the foils. They have a lot of high ratio variants on these books too, man. 1 out of 250.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, they
stuff.
do. And it was one of the biggest selling comics of the year that the first one came out. Like, it was a huge launch.
Yo,
right?
I love
And
the whole story on how his like adopted father used him as a weapon and how he felt resentful because of that, and how his
mother and he's got like this Wonder Woman aspect too, where she was praying to the gods. Right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And
She
that's
went
what
into
we
the
even
cave.
saw here. Like that might have actually been but is it God? Is it technology? Is it extraterrestrial?
I know. Is it himself? Is it
time?
folding?
It's
I got the idea
It's
almost
that right there.
I got the idea almost. Sorry, they're showing the lightning going back through space and time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like his own creation.
Yeah, because he's generating the lightning. Yeah.
What's going on? The only thing that would make this book better would be if Klaus Janson was inking it, because Ron Garney is doing his best fucking like raw Frank Miller, and I fucking love it, man.
It would be. It feels like is it monthly or is it bi-monthly?
It comes out whenever they want.
I just want it to come out more often without sacrificing the integrity of it.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly done. They've been working on it for a long time. They kickstarted it. I remember.
Yeah,
it's going to be 3 graphic novels.
My man in the comment said, there was some crazy 1 out of 4,000 ratio that was signed by Keanu. I remember
that. We thought
Nick
if we
had one. A couple people I saw had one. That's crazy rare.
We had 2 people at the shop ask for it, and we're like, okay, you got to buy like 2,000 copies of the book to get that. And they're like, all right, never mind.
Or some shit like that.
Never
That's
mind,
why
man.
Like a 4K book.
They're like, we'll sell it to you at cost.
Oh, not for nothing. It was Comic Tom and I gave a copy away. I forgot who the hell donated it. Someone donated to Tom, and we gave it away. One of those, yo.
Oh, that's dope.
1,000 variant. I remember that one too. Yeah.
Nah, it was like fun. It was something high, crazy. It was a black cover with a red signature or some shit like that.
I think they did a 1 in 1,000, but then they did other ratios of like a different variant. But I think you could got the signed one for 1 in 1,000. But
see, look,
to be honest, 1,000 copies of that book, that's ridiculous for most shops.
Doing the foil covers for me is like, you're just having fun and you're making a buttload of money because you're making mad ratios, you're making foils for the fuck of it. And to me, it's like, why don't we get more hologram covers, chromium covers, die cut covers? Like that.
I'm all for it, bro.
Like, we're the ones that grew up with that shit, like the 80s babies and shit. You feel me? And now we're the mid to 30s to early 40s with the money. You know what I'm saying? So we want the holograms and shit.
I would rather have the chromium hologram foil covers come back than just endless fucking variant covers.
I would rather
and shit
give
like
me one variant and it's the hologram one and it's really worth money like we thought it was gonna be when we were kids. When I saw the chromed out Superman joint with the black costume, I'm like, that's gonna be like $1,000 book. Look how shiny it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That if that was the high ratio variant, that would make that even more special. Like, you remember pulling this shit out the trading cards? Like, come on, man.
And it's great that Boom is making these foil variants.
Boom is doing it.
Like, available to anybody.
Well,
like, they're not ratio.
They're
not ratio incentives, right?
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying.
They're like $1 more, but I'll pay $1 more for a foil cover, more so than I will for a cardstock cover. DC, you know what I'm saying? So like, but if you give me an acetate cover, Death of Justice League, mediocre story, I don't care. I'm still there for it because I'm a mark for that shit. So
this
very fair.
Yeah, this book is amazing. It hit my top books of 2021, and it's just continuing on. I can't wait to see it. It looks like, we're going to get an answer to that power source, which is exciting. And the whole, honestly, it really hasn't progressed a whole lot, but I don't care. It's been so enjoyable. It's like, he's been brought in by the government as like the ultimate killing weapon. Great. They're trying to tap into his power. They're trying to investigate. They're putting him through therapy. They're trying to understand his power source. They've been doing that since issue 1. We're on issue 8.
He's just been living with it with himself the whole time. This is the first time I feel like someone's been asking him these questions and shit.
Yeah. But like the exploration of his character has just been outstanding, and it's awesome. I love that book so much. It's good.
It's insane to me. Like it's better than I thought it would be. Like it's better than it has any right to be. And it's still like it's great that Boom has this, because like honestly, this feels like, I feel like I've probably said this before, but it's everything like Valiant should be doing in comics that they're not.
Yeah. This is Eternal Warrior, bro.
Yeah, this feels like it should be a Valiant book, and it would be the best Valiant book in years if it was.
The artwork is too grimy for Valiant. Valiant is always super clean, I feel like, you know, but I know what you're saying as far as like an independent created superhero book.
I think Valiant's got some plans, right? So they got Dennis Camp and John Davis Hunt coming on with Bloodshot. That's going to be a different looking, more violent Bloodshot book than we're used to. Liam Sharp coming on to do Exo.
They had who was it that was on Bloodshot last? It was a good ass artist. It was
on Bloodshot. I know they had Jeff Lemire writing it. Who did they for a long time?
The last time I read Bloodshot, it was I think Tim Seeley writing and Brett Booth on art.
Brett Booth, that's what it was. Who's on Spawn now. So even with Brett Booth, the art was great, but the book still didn't really take off, man. Tim Seeley, I don't know. What was the story about? I don't even remember. It's always the same shit with the same company, MRI or whatever the fuck it's called.
Well, not even Jeff Lemire as a writer could move sales up on Bloodshot.
But Jeff Lemire wrote Bloodshot? Oh, yeah, because that was more dealing with his who was he type of thing, right?
He wrote Bloodshot for like 3 years, which is crazy.
Bloodshot needed equally cool villains that weren't just rip-off of himself. But if he would have had a good rogues gallery, maybe he could continue, but they keep having him up against the
Matt Kent's done a lot of work at Valiant. He did a really great book. What was that fucking book called? Oh my God.
Was that the one, the space one?
Yes. What is that book?
One?
Yeah, there's like 3 of
Divinity?
them. Divinity.
Oh, yeah. That shit was dope.
Yeah. That shit was dope. And then
that was part of like
Matt Kent did Exo Manowar for a while and all that shit too.
Exo Manowar is my favorite Valiant superhero.
I'm so pumped for Liam Sharp coming on for the artwork, but
Liam Sharp is doing Exo.
The writing
is he doing
team
his pencils, or is he bringing the paint brushes?
I don't know. The problem is the writing team of Wonder Woman's the writing team. So
I want a good Exo book, yo. What the fuck?
Was it Conrad and Clunan? I like.
But then check me out.
Becky just needs to focus on art, man.
But you say that to say this. Boom's got Berserker, and they also have Something Is Killing the Children. They got bangers right now.
But they haven't had new ones. They're banking a lot on Grimm right now because they haven't had a lot of new hits since.
I got a chance to read Grimm. Did you read that yet?
I haven't read it yet, man. You should send it to me.
I got you.
Yeah, man. I could probably
Grimm
go on time.
I'm trying to remember it, but I guess if no one else read it, fuck, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. I saw your review. I think you liked it, right? It was kind of like Dead Like Me, right?
It was part of the 420 video, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So I already don't remember it because I was high as hell too.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they're putting a lot on that. I mean, they got Frizen for a variant.
You know what Grimm was about? Grimm was about the Grim Reaper is many. It's like an organization of dead people who become reapers, right? And when you die, they guide you to the afterlife. So that's like the premise. The Grim is one of the reapers. So I don't want to spoil it or anything, but if that's the vibe, if you want to go there, and then something happens, the guy when they're on their way to through the underworld. So anyway,
Harbinger was decent. The issue #1. There's a lot going on in that book, though.
Harbinger is it's a team book, right?
It didn't start like that, but maybe it built out as the issues went on.
And now
there was like amnesia and stuff like that happening.
Yeah, what's his name? The guy, the main character. I don't remember his name.
It's a book I kind of regret dropping because it looked like it had promise, but it was just a lot going on in that book.
It still feels like there's a lot. Like you had to read the Joshua Dysert or whatever stuff. Like,
Harada's the bad guy, but I can't remember the good guy's name in Harbinger.
Yeah, me either. Is it not Harbinger?
Nah. That would be so much easier.
Yeah, it would be much. You would think maybe branding's a big part of it. All right, so for me,
that's the problem.
The last book I want to highlight. I haven't highlighted a Marvel book yet, and I don't want to leave Marvel out. So my favorite Marvel book of the month, Hulk Grand Design Madness.
Yeah.
I got the
stand check. That's what it is.
I had a double dip because I got the Jeff Darrow variant. I mean,
I love that Darrow variant.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I just spent Friday. I read every single fucking issue of Shaolin Cowboy in one afternoon because it's easy. Because like one of the whole series doesn't even have fucking words.
Yeah,
but like it's fucking awesome. But anyway, Hulk Grand Design Madness. I think I came across harsh in my review of it because I didn't like it as much as the first one because I feel like Jim Rugg's passion was those first 300 issues of Hulk.
That's fair.
I don't think he likes the ridiculousness of the Peter David run. I do, right? I love the reference to Onslaught. I love the reference to Hulk 2099, which I've covered on Marvel in the 90s. I love the reference to Future Imperfect and all that shit. But I feel like this one was a little bit more run-of-the-mill. Here's what happens. The art's great, all that stuff. But in that first issue, each page was like its own fucking design, its own title, its own like unique sense of composition. It felt very Daniel Clowes, like Death Ray type shit, Ice Haven type shit, right? But in this one, it just felt a little bit more run-of-the-mill, like Scioli's Fantastic Four, Piscor's X-Men. It lost that distinctive ruggedness until we got to the end and he started doing some of those pages. But that being said, I fucking love this book. And it's one of Marvel's best books, quality-wise, worth the fucking price. And you really do get 60 years of the Hulk like that. And it's done. I am pissed that he skips a little bit of the Joe Casey and Bruce Jones runs because I think those are really good Hulk runs. But Joe Casey only had like 6 or 7 issues right after Peter David. They rebooted it with John Byrne, and then Eric Larson came in, then Paul Jenkins. I love all of that shit. Bruce Jones comes in then, and then Peter David comes back and writes all of it away as a fucking dream. How fucking pretentious do you have to be to come in and erase, like I wrote this character for 12 years. Other people have done their shit for 5. I'm going to fucking erase it all like Bob fucking Newhart in a goddamn dream. God damn it. Anyway, Hulk Grand Design was awesome. What'd y'all think?
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it. And like you said, all those things, the epilogue and all of that was really interestingly designed towards the end there. It is a lot there. There are a lot of characters that get really glossed over, and but there is a lot of the tongue-in-cheek sort of elements to it. Like, oh, this character is like they're alive again. They did this and all that. But
when you say it matter-of-factly, sometimes it's so ridiculous. Comic book fucking like lore and shit. Dude, I love the over the edge shit.
I love that page. Hulk sucks. I wish you were dead. All that stuff. Like it was funny, man.
He's doing his funny. Liam Sharp down there with that fucking abomination. He does his best Liam Sharp and I love the Savage Dragon fucking reference. He put Savage Dragon in the goddamn Hulk book.
It's cool. Yeah.
It is great. Yeah.
It doesn't have the charm, like you said, of issue number 1. It kind of falls more in that formula that we've seen in Grand Designs in issue number 2, but it still has that Jim Rugg feel to it. But I would agree. Number 1's better, but number 2 is just, it's, you just got to get it. It has a lot of cool shit in it. So,
Jim, you were into this book.
Yeah, I like the Grand Design. I mean, it's just like and this happened, and that happened, and that happened, and this happened, and that happened.
Right.
But this one felt cool. I don't know if it was issue 1 or 2. It felt like he went back and like vandalized his own book and like tagged it up and shit and just did like fun shit and Easter eggs all throughout on different pages. Yeah. And then you had like the little breaks of like, Infinity Gauntlet happened and they had like a cool little splash and like, that shit was just fun, man. So that was a nice break through that kind of boom, 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 boom of events. You know what I'm saying? But it's a cool book. It makes me want to read Hulk. It makes me want to be like, fuck, I got to go through the Omnibus Volume 1 now. Yeah. Like I need to go do a Hulk read through to experience all this as it unfolded type of shit. So, yeah, I'm into it. It wets my beak and it makes me want some more on the character.
Yep. And if you like that kind of stuff too, the Folio Society does these really pretentious books.
You got the Hulk one, bro.
I got the Hulk one from Roy Thomas. Puts these together with the Folio Society, And it comes with, a gorgeous facsimile edition of the Incredible Hulk #1. I'll show you here. Look at that.
Cool. Oh, it even looks aged and all that.
It does look aged. It's great.
That's cool.
Oh, they print it perfectly too, so it looks aged. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the most like accurate representation you get of pulling it off of the shelf almost, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Oh, yellowed it.
And the book itself, I'll show you here, is also done where it's like the original scans.
Wow, yeah, I like that.
Very cool.
So
That
like,
looks
what's
so
the
much
size
better,
of that? Is that
man.
a standard size hardcover or is it oversized?
this is a standard size hardcover. They also put out a golden, bronze, and silver age collection. Those collections are absolute size.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Looks
man.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And so, like Roy Thomas is the one that curates what issues are in there, is what you were saying?
Yeah, but it's
so is it a best of type of thing, or?
Yeah, it collects a bunch of issues. So like it's it's like Tales to Astonish 100 and 63. So you get the first appearance of the leader, you get the big Namor Hulk fight, you get the first appearance of Wendigo, stuff like that.
Mm.
And it's just great.
The colors look so much better on that shit, man.
Yeah.
Like you look at these, like as much as I love the Omnibus and complete collections and shit, sometimes they don't take into account how it would print.
Right.
Yeah, and so like it just looks gaudy.
That's what the absolutes do when they include the story multiple times with different coloring, different paper stock. Because it was printed on beige newspaper-ish type of paper back then. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. The Omnibus though, you're still getting the art and you're getting it clean and the colors clean and crisp and as bright as ever. So I do like that too. But you're right. It's not as authentic as it is on that type of paper with that look.
Yeah, there's this what's that company that just did the Spider-Man hardcover?
That's what I thought he was pulling out. But that one I think is even bigger than an absolute.
It is. It's super fucking huge. It's bigger than an absolute. And I saw a video where they were flipping through it, and it's like it's photo scanned from the fucking original.
So bought that shit, man.
Coloring comes.
Isn't there 3 hardcovers coming out soon? Right? There's 3
That's
of them,
just
right?
wait, and they're so expensive
from that thing,
to begin with.
Thing.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I had them ordered.
But that's something that Grand Design does, and the Grand Design books in general do. They replicate that. Like it's not white paper. Yeah. Right.
They also do give those Grand Designs Treasury editions, which are like huge trade paperbacks. And
each one has a reprint of a classic issue that's usually colored by Ed Piscor. Like the Fantastic Four one has Fantastic Four. Is it 51? This Man, This Monster, colored by Ed Piscor. It's fucking gorgeous, man.
But Ed Piscor only did the X-Men one as far as someone else did FF, right?
Yeah, Tom Scioli did FF. And now we got Jim Rock. So that's all 3 of the dudes we see for the most part on Cartoonist Kayfabe. But I'm still I want Spider-Man Grand Design by Jim Mumford.
Oh, that would slap.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. What?
They got to do Grand Design, and they got to do. But you got to do somebody that's like.
Yo, we really could use all of them. We could use a Thor, an Iron Man, an Avengers. We need more Grand Design.
Mike Allred to do the Iron Man one. Okay.
Silver Surfer Grand Design. Shit, yo.
Yeah, let's just keep doing it, but like have it be these underground, more alternative kind of cartoonists.
Because it's more informative. It's not so much the artwork, it's more of the timeline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So that's everything. So now it's time for the rapid fire. If there's anything else left, just run down real quick and then we'll wrap this up. Nick, what you got? Rapid fire.
Oh, all right. We're going to go into first Captain America issue 0. Again, I'm just going off of the fun factor. It was nonstop. The art was incredible in this book.
Look
really
at Steve
dug that.
Saving everybody on that cover from R. Kelly.
That's right.
Love it.
But yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, that's another way. That's a good one. Yeah, just really fun.
Team up book, Cap and Cap.
Nonstop, just action. That was really fun. I did like that one.
I could have done without the fist bump, but whatever.
Yeah, it had its little
quirky moments here and there, if I meet you, I might give you a fist bump. I mean,
that's different, man.
It was fun though, man. You know what I mean? It felt like a world's finest kind of a thing.
It's like
you
when
know,
did Sam decide to become Cap again? Because last I heard, he decided to go back to Falcon because he hated being Cap.
Just take the two characters and put them in a book, team them up against some stupid thing, and then like just make it fun. And that's what I felt when I got.
He's Cap in the MCU. Never mind, I get it now. I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's right. X-Men 10 kind of pulled me back into liking X-Men a little bit more. There's some stupid stuff that happens in this issue, but at least it was fun. The first couple pages, X-23 gets adamantium everywhere, and that they're resurrecting her, and they were just like, remember, just the claws. Oops, I forgot. Should we mulligan this one? No, let's keep going. It's like a stealth upgrade. It's pretty funny. Some interesting stuff happens in here, but it at least got my attention.
Everywhere? What the fuck does that even mean?
Well, she's completely like, remember, this is the Wolverine that just has adamantium in certain places. It's not like Logan, right? So now she's like decked out. Instead
is like covering her fucking muscles or some shit.
No, like bones. Now she's got like
Wolverine's got adamantium. Oh, she never had that. Is what you're saying.
No, you're right. Right.
Okay.
So when they resurrected her, they messed up, and they're like, "Should we mulligan this one?" I'm like, no, let's just go ahead and just do it anyways. Okay. So they stealth upgrade some.
And now she's like, "Thanks, I'm like fucking 500
No,
pounds."
they never touch it. They never go into that ever again throughout the rest of the issue. So again, stupid stuff happens, but it's like it was at least there was some stuff I liked about it.
I appreciate your sense of shame when talking about enjoying that comic.
Because there is a sense of shame with X books right now for me.
Yeah, I mean, because I read that book too, and I was just like, wow, this is what we're doing with my fucking time.
Right. Like, it has its moments for sure, but man, I know.
Like, I'm just like, what?
Listen, I'm really guilty right now because I haven't put a light on Marvel books yet today. So I feel like I need to at least talk about something.
So you got to go with X-Men.
So I had to pick out something that I at least enjoy. It was at least fun to read.
You know that me and Joe are here and you want to bring up fucking X-Men, but it's okay.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, sure. Here it is.
Not the worst issue of X-Men.
No, it's not the worst for sure. It's not the worst for sure.
You know?
It was better than the last issue of X-Men though. So there we go.
There was some garbage X-Men.
We're on an upward trend right now.
There's some concepts in that main run that I really enjoy. They wish they focused more on, but they seem to like focus their attention on this other crap that I just don't care about. I'm like, focus on the mission.
It's almost like they don't know where the fuck they're going.
It's wild. It is wild to me. This whole line. It's just like they'll figure out what everyone wants, and I'm like, yes, so let's do this. And then
next issue will be completely off.
Yeah, it seems like out of nowhere they're just like, oh, well, you get the exact opposite of that for like 3 or 4 months, and then maybe we'll get back to what was good that everyone liked.
Right. So maybe this touched on just enough stuff that I was interested in, which is why it made it maybe on my not so rapid fire list, right? So, from Boom, we talked about Something's Killing the Children a little bit, especially with that die cut. After reading House of Slaughter Volume 1, I just was like, man, that's not what I really wanted. I wanted more exploration of the different houses, and we got that in this one. We got introduced to a new house, another crazy lady that's kind of maybe not running it, but she's like another soldier in there. And I'm also excited for House of Slaughter Volume 2 coming out soon, but I like this one, liked Erica in it. It really reminded me that we're back in that Something's Killing the Children vibe, which I did like a lot. We talked about Hotel. Great conclusion to the whole series, man. This was great, and what's great is the payoff for reading Volume 1. You had all these things that popped up throughout this volume, but in this issue, we had some more little Easter eggs jumping through. I think it took all the characters and all the previous issues and what happened to those characters. It brought them, that made them relevant in this issue here. We finally had a force to go against the hotel in a way, and of course, the hotel, comes up on top. So that spirit that kind of runs it and possesses it. Really, really cool issue. I like that one a lot. And then I'll just do one more. We have Demons, issue number 2. I think Scott Snyder's an interesting writer. The way I picture his writing process is he's got a giant wheel of ideas and he just spins it and whatever it lands on. And this one was family tragedy, demons. But I mean, they're all written the same. Noctera has the same feel to it, I think, has the same emotion and things like that. It's very cool. It has a little bit of generic undertone on it, but I think it's really enjoyable. Capullo's art's awesome on this. And this is like a deep dive on this like demon sidekick, which I thought was cool to take a moment to explain that, explore that a little bit, because you didn't expect it after reading issue number 1. But a lot of cool stuff is happening in this book, and I was digging it. So
Nice.
that's my little rapid fire. I'll save some books for y'all.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Cool.
Joe, rapid fire. What you got?
Good book.
Sure. Well, since
Yeah.
Nick hates Marvel so much, I'm going to pick a bunch of Marvel books.
Do it. Do it. I got a stack of Marvel here I didn't talk about. What do I got? I got all kinds of Marvel books.
No, you're fine. Jesus. But The Thing wrapped up. That was great. I enjoyed this whole book. This was fun. It was a nice going back to that era of Fantastic Four. So
I quit reading that, but I have every issue. I need to check it out.
I dropped that after issue 1. I was like, I'm good on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
missed out on that one.
it ends up it goes in some pretty cool directions.
That's what I've heard. A lot of people I really like and respect like that book. So
Okay, maybe it's worth plowing through that first issue then.
Yeah, like it all makes sense by like the second to last issue. You're like, oh, that's why these things are happening.
I just remember it being so campy where I'm like, I can't, man. Like,
yeah, that's what you heard a lot of people say about it. Yeah.
I think it gets a bit more serious towards the end. But,
okay, got you. That's cool.
But yeah. But
modernize sounds like it modernizes a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit modern. Yeah. Alien 11.
Great. I
this
like
is
it.
a lot of fun. Fun's the wrong word, but you know, I appreciate it. You know, it's I'm an Alien mark. I love Alien stories. There's only one story they just keep telling over and over again, but you know what? That's fine.
Fuck the corporation.
This is no exception. It's the same shit, but it looks nice, and it's it's well written. It's just different enough where it gets you through. Like, okay, this is they're dealing with that like religious colony and all that. It was it was good. I enjoyed that. I'm still really liking Silver Surfer Rebirth.
Great book.
So did issue 4 of this. It's moving really quick. The pacing and all that, it's like it's good pacing, but the way it works tends to make it lean into the formula, so you can kind of beat by beat figure out what happens every issue. But I still really like it a lot. And the Captain Marvel annual #1. This was actually pretty fun. It was just like a cute little story with her working with the Starjammers, and they have to do a bunch of stuff and make it out alive. And it's just like a fun little action book. And it's not Kelly Thompson. It's Corinne Grunbeck. And, I really like her stuff a lot. So
cool.
So
awesome.
I enjoyed that. And then last one, Behemoth Squad. The first issue here is Sally. This is a like shared sci-fi universe. So each book is supposed to be a one-shot with a different aspect of the sci-fi world. And the first issue, it's solid. And if it was the continuing story of what I read, I'm not sure I would have continued. But the fact that I'm like, oh, each issue is like going to be a little different. It's this nice black and white art. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, next issue, it's like a different part of this big world you created. I'm like, I'll check it out for a bit, see where it goes.
Yeah. That's issue 4, I think, right?
This is issue 1, but the thing's called Quad.
Oh, okay.
So it's, So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Enjoying it.
Cool.
Nice. What you got, Jim? Rapid fire.
So rapid fire, let's highlight Nice House on the Lake back. Just more kind of Walter showing signs. Well, flashbacks to now it all makes sense. These kind of weird things he was doing and asking me, and how he curated this group of friends. We always get one little flash of him being some kind of monster, whatever that thing may be. And just inching forward here. They're trying to figure out what they can do on this property, building new structures and everything. And I think it ends on issue 8 is it, or 9, based on the little icons on the top, or is it 10? I think it's a 10 issue series.
Yeah, I thought it was like 10 to 12.
I think it's 10 now that you say that. And I'm saying it out loud. But so I'm ready to get to the resolution. I'm starting to get a little bit fatigued with dragging it out a little bit, but it's still interesting nonetheless. Then we have Flashpoint Beyond issue number 1. So I dug this. I mean, basically Thomas Wayne wakes up and he's back in the Flashpoint world that he thought he fixed, but it's not. All right, let's see how that happened and all that. I'm having fun with that.
Yeah.
And then I got Carnage, Ron V, killing it. Carnage is super badass, man. This is Ron V is gonna give you the serial killer symbiote, man. He's not gonna fuck around, and he's killing specifically super powered villains, taking their power essence, a la I don't know, Jet Li the One or some shit. Got Hydro Man's powers,
it's like this theme of becoming. It's very much out of Michael Mann's Manhunter. Right, like I was really picking up some Manhunter vibes out of this.
It's evolution, and Venom's doing the same thing with evolution.
Right,
Where we
so
need
he
to
doesn't
evolve.
need a host anymore. Meanwhile, he's got this cheerleader of a guy that wants to be his host, and he's showing some promise. So the symbiote doesn't even really take him serious at first, but he's going to kind of put him through the trials and ringers and the hell that is Carnage to see if he's worthy of bonding with him. Which they'll probably just use the symbiote to kill him at the end anyway, but. Yeah, Ron V's killing it on there, and I forget the villain that he fought in the last issue to steal their power, but I know he got Hydro Man.
Was it like Spot Man or who was that?
Yeah, the Spot was like
it was Hydro Man in the at first, and now it's going to be Spot, right?
Spot. But he's going to be able to use and have new powers based on that. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
That's interesting. The other one I highlighted it, but I'm gonna need y'all help with this. But the X-Men Red. I like the whole Arakko on Mars stuff. And am I getting things confused? But it was a Storm-led story, and was there a T'Challa interaction there as well?
And there was a lot of Magneto.
Magneto was in it. I don't think T'Challa was in Red. I'm not sure.
I'm getting that confused with the Black Panther run, which I'm liking that run a lot.
Yeah, she's in that one. You're still in like my one X-Men love that I was going to give this month was X-Men Red. Like I actually liked that fucking first issue. I really did.
Please go ahead, because I just remember liking it. I like where they're going with that, but I don't remember the specifics.
What I liked the most about it was it felt like it was taking Storm and Magneto in specific and other characters along with it
like
into a
Vulcan
little bit of
and
and like into a little bit of like actually moving the story forward for them in this Krakoan era.
Right.
Because so much of it just feels like running in fucking place.
Yes, it feels like you're moving the overarching thing forward.
Now maybe they're like Al this is where he's taking his characters and now he'll spin them around in place. Who knows? But for this first issue, I was rather impressed, man. And for me to be impressed by any X book right now is
the Knights of X book was whack as hell.
Bruh. Yes.
Spider-Man 1 was whack.
it's not on my list.
Hulk was kind of whack.
Hulk has been whack.
Yeah, but that's Donny Cates though. I mean,
we could do monthly. Yeah, I mean, but it's still got good artwork. But like Jim said in his video, he goes, "You said, does Donnie think he's doing something new?"
With Cole,
right?
I said the wrong thing because that was Blaze, but
Titan,
with Cole the Titan, that's not new though, man.
Yeah, it's not new. They've done this so many fucking times. Paul Jenkins did it. Al Ewing just fucking did it. They did it on Axis with Rolk. Like they've already fucking done. What if Hulk had a Hulk?
No, not Rolk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but also, what happened with the one you just mentioned? One, the Immortal Hulk one, the whole Devil Hulk. That shit amounted to nothing, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a typical leapfrogging crap that comics do, right? They always need to find that next Omega being, that next evolution, that next something. It's just a new writer. He's got to find his next apex, right?
But Donnie, I love Donnie.
It's
Donnie.
Issue 3 and 6, right? Issue 3, 5, or 6. Those are like, I got to make those spec books. Like, because I'm going to buy a bunch of them myself. I don't fucking know, man.
Well, now we're going to get Thor tie-in and all that stuff. So
Thor, I was a little disappointed with. I don't know. I mean, I liked it. It was like an annual because it was a legacy issue and the whole death of
I like
Odin.
that they bring all those people in to like signify their runs. So here's the problem.
Yeah,
though.
That's true.
I remember being really hyped for Walt Simonson to be in there. And I read it and I was like, that was all right. Then Walt Simonson on his Facebook page shows his black and white inks. And I was like showing it to people at the shop on Saturdays, like, this is fucking criminal. What this coloring did to his fucking line work.
I don't like the letter.
Bullshitting me?
The lettering is tough though to read too, man. You know
that font, yeah.
Not for Walt Simonson. I love that shit though. That's just part of his. That's part of his jam, man. Come on.
The best part of that Thor book was like they said all the other realms are watching this event right now, and they're watching Thor. And he had like some internal monologue or whatever it was, and he was like, and I dare them to attack because we're in such a grieving mode right now that we're essentially so full of adrenaline and everything else that we will destroy anything that comes our way. Like that was a cool moment in that book, but it was a long book, and there's
now Thor's supposed to have the true full power of Odin. Now he's
finally giving it up. Yeah.
So now he's really going to be the most powerful he's ever been, supposedly, right? But what was he when? I mean, yeah. So when Galactus was his herald, he didn't really have the full power of Odin yet.
Right.
But now Odin is really still trapped in Mjolnir right now, right? Because heaven or Valhalla is gone or some shit like that.
Doesn't exist.
Was that the hook?
Yeah. It was empty. Yeah.
That's cool enough, I guess.
See, it's so funny. Like I find it's hard to talk spoilers because I'm so used to trying not to say spoilers, but it's like, yeah, I like that. The whole now Odin's gonna be riding a shotgun.
I like that. I really do. And it
makes
like
driving. Yeah.
Because the whole thing is framed by his like send off, and I've personally I've read like at least 5 Odin deaths in Thor comics. You know what I'm saying? So like
in like one run, even like they go to that well so many times.
They're like, what if he loses his eye again?
But they brought him back in the funeral issue. they pulled a Justice League Batman versus Superman. Which one was it? Where they showed the return right after the death. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, no shit.
At least Infinity Wars made us think they really killed all these people until the next movie. Not like
until the next AI is Tony Stark's AI that he uploaded before he died. Yeah.
Is Tony real?
I want to see that multiversal Illuminati with the Tom Cruise Iron Man.
I'm just gonna say this: I did decide, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I watched the leaks to Doctor Strange today. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I'm rather fucking excited now.
Yeah, but I heard
I'm more excited. They did that shit on purpose because now I'm more excited about this movie. I'm just gonna say
they got to let you know, just like with No Way Home, they had to like let you know right before, like, yo, they're all gonna be there.
Y'all, you got to check out Comics by Perch. They just had Sean Murphy on. Joe was there, and Sean said they told us spoilers actually help. So spoil as much as you fucking want.
You got to put it out there for the people like that don't think they're gonna go there because we're gonna fucking go there.
Yeah. Wow. No shit. Anything else, Jim?
No, that's it.
All right, for me. Rapid fire. Naughty List was way better than I thought it would be. Naughty List was fucking awesome. I thought it was a little bit like Klaus meets Bad Santa, but still kind of had its own thing. So it's like an origin story for Santa Claus, but it's a little bit more they say Sopranos themed. I don't pick that up, but it's still very I don't know. It's really interesting. I liked it. I thought it was funny. Radio Spaceman wrapped up its first 2-issue series. Anytime Mike Mignola gives me some new concept, I'm down for it. So I like that. Nightmare Country. Didn't like the first time I read it, but I reread it a second time for the weekly review and liked it a lot better. Love the artwork and some interesting things going on there. West of Sundown. I really liked. Another vampire story, like vampires. Okay, vampire westerns. All right. How are you going to top Near Dark? Right, like, you know,
anybody?
I liked it. I thought it was a good, solid story, and I don't typically dig on a lot of Tim Seeley solo written stuff, but I thought that was good. Firepower.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I had that on my list and I took it off, man. But yeah, they finally the cat's out of the bag, right? So,
bro, like I feel like because Robert Kirkman can stretch a story out, he's proven that. Right? With Walking Dead, he's proven he can just stretch some shit. There's no stretching this shit out. They are like in it every fucking issue, and it still has that emotional core. I love it. I thought Little Monsters issue 2 was way better than issue 1. It should have been 1 and 2 combined as one issue for the first issue, because that's where we got the hook that they've lied to us. Drinking human blood's really good, and they're kids. So the Lord of the Flies meets vampires, Lost Boys really hits there. Batman Beyond the White Knight. I hate Harley Quinn so much, but so the idea of Batman being married to Harley Quinn would really be obnoxious to me.
But Harley Quinn and Joker are both regular people in this world now.
Yeah,
right?
And that's what like White Knight is such a cool universe because I love Harley Quinn, and in this one, I'm loving Red Hood. I hate Jason Todd. Sean Murphy's making me fucking like these characters. That's fucking wild, and we already went on how great of an artist he is. And then Ice Cream Man had a really good issue. I think I like almost underappreciated because there was a certain point where I was like, Willie, calm down. Don't be talking and don't be like writing stories about your death. You know what I'm saying? Because this is very like, it feels very personal. But I loved it because it has that quirky, weird, unnerving kind of sense to it.
It was more straightforward too. This one's way more straightforward than most Ice Cream Man books.
It hit a bit close to home for me because I'm technically like 5'9"3/4, but I just tell people I'm 5'10".
Perfect. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I get accused of telling people I'm 5'11", and they're like, "No, you're not. You're 5'10". I was like, "What? You're gonna fucking argue with me over an inch? Like, what are we talking about? It says it on my fucking license."
I lie about being 6 foot, and we're about the same height. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, you go to the gym, Nick, by the way, because you cut a little bit, bruh. Like, this is the second time I've ever met Nick, and Nick's pretty
I
handsome.
do what I could do.
You got wonderful hair, a jawline that Matthew McConaughey would be fucking jealous of, and you got some good arms, bro. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, he didn't know he was gonna come on here and get showered with compliments.
I'm just saying, man. The second
I'll
time
take
I ever
whatever
met
I can
Nick in
get.
person,
I
Nick,
feel like I've been on multiple shows with Nick. We've been on other shows on different channels or some shit.
We've done this show like 4 or 5 times together.
So he's talking about the second time. What's he talking about?
Oh no, we met. We saw each other at Huntsville.
we met in person 2 times.
We met in person twice.
Oh, okay.
You see Nick in person, and you're like, I'm like, he's taller than me. He's wider than me. He's like got less of a gut than me. Like,
but that's funny because the height thing is something you can never grasp. I just met Bueller in person. The guy's tall as shit, man.
I know. I can tell he's tall, man. I saw a picture with you. And I was like, is Jim short or is
I'm
Bueller
6
tall?
foot. I'm
going to meet him this week, man.
6 foot.
I'm so excited. I get to meet him at the end of the week, man.
Yeah,
John,
I'll probably.
you.
I'm
John's
interested
huge,
to know. I'm interested to see the picture of me and Bueller next to each other to compare it to your picture to see where me and you are.
I lucked out, and I was like, I'm in the best shape of my life when he happened to come by.
That's
no
funny.
shit, man.
That's great.
And I love that, like when you did the stream with him on the bus, and you're just like
chilled.
I'm gonna do the same thing, bro.
I have my Zach Morris tie-dye shirt on. Yeah.
I wish I could fit in my Kelly Kapowski shirt right now, but I'm not quite there yet. But I'm working on it. Anyway,
that's great.
This has been a fantastic show. Thank you so much, everybody out there in the chat, for checking us out. Nick, Joe, Jim, links to all their shit in the comments down below. I put Joe's Twitter feed down there.
Yeah.
Why not? But you can catch him on Comics by Perch. Nick, what's coming up?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your channel. Wrap it up. Final thoughts.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I have a channel I'm trying to rebuild and try to add some more stuff into how to get into comics today. A lot of us take for granted all the knowledge we've accumulated over the years and years that we've been reading. So I'm trying to put those in easy to digest formats for new people to get into the hobby because, I'm relatively new, about 5 years or so, and it takes some time to learn some of these things. So I'm doing some videos dedicated to those little tips that I've picked up along the way, things that I've learned from guys like you. So that's great. Weekly review show, weekly hauls, things like that. Work really closely with my LCS and do a lot of cool stuff with them as well. Hey guys, Free Comic Book Day is coming up this Saturday, May 7th, first Saturday in May. So if you have an LCS you go to, please support them. Go there, see what kind of sales they got going on. It's always a great time. So do that. Man, I appreciate you having me on, Robbie. And it was awesome seeing you this past weekend, dude. And we'll definitely see you next time for sure.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I hope to see you in Memphis, bro.
Oh, yeah. I got some in-laws in Memphis. So maybe
I
we
can
do
introduce you to Liana, man. She'll be there. So
awesome. Yeah. I'll check it out.
Super fun. Lots of great people going to be. Greg Capullo is going to be there. James O'Barr is going to be there. Mark Wade's going to be there. Come on, man.
Oh, that's
awesome. Be a good show. Joe, I hope to see you in Memphis. You should come down there. If not, Heroes Con. You going to Heroes Con, Joe? Got any appearances? Any cons?
I know I'll be at C2E2 in New York. Baltimore, I should be there again. But yeah, Heroes, I don't know. I might end up in Dallas Fan Expo, but
interesting.
I'm still figuring that out.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you're still on the verge of announcement of a few projects that I know are coming up, but you're frequently on Perch and all that stuff. So what do you want to plug, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can still get you check out our videos on Comics by Perch, but also you can still get the Beckstar trade. That's available. She Said Destroy is still available through Vault. And if you want to read the first issue, you can read the first issue for free on Vault's website.
Those books are PCP approved, everybody, just so you know.
Yeah. So, and the Deadbeats anthologies, volumes 1 and volume 2 are still available on Amazon as well.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, man. And there's more coming up, man. Trust me, y'all.
There is There is more. I've got something that comes out next month that I still can't announce. But yeah,
that's so fucked up. It comes out next month. You can't announce. That's so fucking backwards.
In the DMs. That's great.
Jim, man.
Sweet.
What you
up,
got,
man? What do I got on the channel? On YouTube?
Just anything you want to plug coming up, man. Like, I don't care.
What do I want to plug coming up, man? The channel, we're doing our thing on there still. Weekly comic book reviews. I've been reading a lot of Omnis lately, man. I get into moods, man. And right now I'm just eating them up, reading The Road to No Man's Land. What's that?
I love seeing what you're reading and then watching your thoughts about it. Because
it.
No Man's Land, not the greatest stuff out there, but dude, so good at the time. So I'm interested to see what you think about it.
And I hear that it gets slow. So I'm reading The Road to No Man's Land right now, just in the beginning of this catastrophe. It's a lot of how is everybody what's everybody going through during this big earthquake, this 7.5 or whatever. But I'm not going to go right into No Man's Land after that. I think I'm going to bounce to a Marvel book, man. You know what I really want to get into? The Peter David Hulk run. I got the 4 Omnibus right now, and I want to get into that. So I'm doing a lot of Omni reviews
early on there.
Still getting statues and doing statue reviews, but we're moving, man. We're closing on a new house the end of next month, and we're going to be renovating and creating a whole new space, man. So we're going to have a lot of fun doing that shit on the channel.
You doing an auction stuff? You doing an auction beforehand so you don't have to move so much shit across?
I already kind of did all that.
Okay, nice.
Kind of got rid of all the statues that I wasn't planning on bringing over, and all the omnibus and stuff. I even thinned out my omnibus collection to kind of be like,
if you don't want to move all those turtles, man, you just send them my way.
The turtles got to stay because I got Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder coming. Plus, they got Crane coming out. So,
Crane will be gnarly.
But when we get into the new place, it's going to be back on and popping with the statues and everything. So that, and the biggest thing is like, man, Whatnot is basically my full-time job, yo. I sell on there like once a week, and they got me in their new ad. You guys might see it as a sponsored ad.
Cutting promos for Whatnot. I saw that.
It's a good one on IG. That was awesome. Yeah,
that was dope, man. I was happy. I was like, yo, I did it, whatever. And I sell on there every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, man. 1 hour comic book auction.
Nice.
Awesome.
Y'all check out all of these fine fellows here at PCP. What do we got coming up? Tomorrow night, you catch me out on the Experience with the crew from Dynamic Forces and Dynamite. Yeah, the EXP. They got, like I said, great vintage comics. It's going to be fun conversation. I try to bring up spam as much as possible. I'm just there for colorful commentary and jokes, so that's what I try to bring there. And then right after that, join us for PCP Movie Night Trimmers, the winner of the PCP Audience Choice poll. Very puzzling to me that Trimmers beat out Fight Club, but it's okay.
Damn, Fight Club is
Tremors is awesome.
I've never seen Tremors in my life.
I fucking hate Tremors, and I think that's why it won. So I'm actually about to go watch fucking Tremors right now. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. We're dipping out. Y'all have been the best. And on behalf of everybody on the panel at the PCP crew, excitable we are, all that jazz and more, I just want to say pop, pop.